someone new? No, there's no one new. It's Gigi who normally isn't on. Hi there. Can you guys hear me? Morning. Oops, it won't really morning anymore. Can somebody say something to see if I can hear you?
I'm here at home today.
No, I'm not hearing you.
Eugene, hi. Hi.
Hold on, I'm not hearing you, so I need to hear you. Um, okay, let's try now. Say something. Somebody, can you say something?
Hello, we're on Zoom today.
I changed all the settings, and so, okay, can somebody say something now? If I see your mouth moving, I know you're saying something.
Okay, here we are
Yes,
today.
I can hear you now. Okay, good. I just needed to test it because I'm changing the settings. Different teacher comes in and puts the settings to this, to their choice and our choice, so I need to, okay, so we can hear you now. All right, but somebody just spoke and I heard a reverb, so can you try that again?
That's me.
Okay, do you have two computers set up? Yes, you
Yes.
do. Gigi and there's the other one, G. Okay, so go to one of them, and it's not just turning the sound off, which you do have. You need to disconnect. So what are they, two computers or computer and phone? What is
I've
it that
got
you
my
have?
Mac, iPad.
In your iPad, okay. So the one the one that's easier for me to tell you how to disconnect the sound. First of all, everyone listen, if you're ever going to connect with two devices, and this is important, Gigi, anyone who's ever planning to connect on two devices, I know that, when you connect with your second device, it asks you, Gigi, listen, Gigi,
I'm listening. I'm
okay,
listening.
it mainly says, do you want to connect with audio? It asks you each time. And on the second device, just say no, and it'll go, really? Like, are you sure? And you need to say yes or skip or no. No sound. Then there's no issue. You don't have to deal with it after. Just do it at connection point. But now that it's already happened, okay, then go to your computer, which is easier for me to tell you how to disconnect for the computer. Go to the little word that says audio at the bottom left. And there's a little tiny arrow right next to it. Do you see pointing upwards? Next to
Yes.
the word audio, then click on that one and then go up from the bottom up. The second one is leave computer audio. You see where I'm going?
Yes.
Okay. So if you say leave computer audio on that device and you still are connected, so it hasn't happened yet, then that one device, there we go. So now your one device doesn't have audio anymore. Now on the other one, you're muted. So go and unmute yourself on your other one, which is probably your iPad, right?
Yes.
Good, so unmute
Okay.
yourself. Good, so now I can hear you, and there's no problem.
Done.
One
I'm
only
next.
has to be on. The muting alone doesn't work. She was muted on the iPad, but it doesn't work. You need to have one not be considered audio and one on. It doesn't matter which, but it's easier to disconnect audio on the computer than on the iPad. Next time, try it at accessing, right? At the moment of connecting. Just for people who are on Zoom and have two devices connected. Because remember when Rodney here connected last week and immediately we had two microphones in the same room? They go, bzzz. They don't. You can only have one. It's not a Zoom thing. It's any microphone. Two microphones in one room. I mean, I'm sure professionally there's a way to have different microphones in a room, but in this case, you can't. Okay? So that's what was happening. All right, so now I'm going to connect to this one also on Zoom, and again, I disconnect the sound on the second one, right? Because I'm connecting on two different ones to the same class in the same moment. So when I do that, and I'm going to, hold on, because this one I have to walk in differently. Give me a second. But yeah, so at the moment that you're not seeing this because I'm not on Zoom yet, but it's going to ask me, and I'm going to walk through what it asked me so that you can, be aware. Hello? It's not going. The Wi-Fi is very slow today. Hello? straight to Zoom. It's not connecting. It considers this computer a foreign computer. I didn't get my answer yet as to whether I'll be allowed to update this one, but we'll see. So while I'm doing this, I just wanted you all to know, 914977, what's happening right now is called two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
So for certain things that need more privacy, they don't just let you in with a password. They also want to send information to another device. And so they just sent to my real phone, because they have my real phone number, they just sent, they just sent a code that I had to type in. So now it's password and code, and they go, okay, you really are you. And for things like banks or things like that, you should always have two-factor authentication set up. You don't want to mess with that, okay? Now let me go and see if I can start it from here. It's a problem because, no, never mind, I have to reset Mac level 2. It's not wanting to let me connect to today's. I might have to disconnect from this one and reconnect, which is okay if that's what needs to happen. But you can't. But right now it has a choice of audio. I'm going to turn it off, and then when it starts, I have to say disconnect audio.
Recording in progress.
Can you hear that kind of weird double sound? So I'm going to go to that little arrow next to audio. The audio is turned off, but it doesn't matter, and I'm going to click leave computer audio. There it is. That's all. And now I'm done. Okay? So it's not about muting or unmuting. It's about leaving computer audio, and we're all good. Okay? Could you guys hear that double sound that was happening there at home? All right.
Yeah, it's
So
annoying.
it's just a quick little, it's not a big deal as long as you know where to go. That little arrow, and because everyone mutes it and thinks that's done. No. It's actually saying, there's no microphone here. Don't use it. Right? Okay. So now you saw me appear over here. Let me turn the video on, because that's the one where you see the class. There we go. All right. Cool. By the way, this one's been here for a long time. I don't know that it's since last semester, but this one appeared the other day. So if this happens to be any of yours that's been forgotten, I mean, there's other classes happening, so I'll leave them here. But just in case it happens to be this one, I don't think it's any one of yours, but this one, so it's here. Okay. Let me just say one more thing, just really quickly. This is the intro to the Mac class, and there was a little bit of confusion with Mary, for example, and I know that maybe Evelyn doesn't know this. Evelyn or Evelyn? Evelyn. This class is 5 sessions long, and then the next one is Intro to the Mac Level 1. So it's Intro to the Mac Level 1, so it's confusing, right? But it's a separate class. And then the next one is Intro to the Mac Level 2. And then right after that, we start with iLife. And it's like, what's iLife? It's all the photos and stuff, and all the photography from your phone. So all of those are Mac classes. And if you go ahead and want to know the codes, I can pull them up and look for them. But go ahead. The moment one finishes, Monday, Wednesday, the next one begins. So, but you can't just sit here and think because you're in one that you'll be in the rest. You need to keep registering for the rest, or you can register now for the rest. But it's always exactly the same schedule and all the way through to the end. I'm teaching only until April 19th this session. I'm not, the last 4 weeks I'm gone. So that's the end of my teaching. I'm going to be doing like last week. So I'm going to travel for 6 weeks, which is what I did last year. What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to do a bike ride with my husband from the Netherlands up to Switzerland along the Rhine Valley.
Wow.
You know, my husband's only a year older than me, but he suddenly got that we're at the age where this is when we need to do it. before
right.
we can't, right? And so he's been pushing for that. And so he's been doing it for the last 2 summers. And last summer I joined him and I did my own little trip. I went and did a whole walking tour of Spain for 6 weeks. And now we're like, we're going to do it again. No, I'm from Argentina. So anyway, for better or for worse, it's not like I'm abandoning you guys. I'll be back. I'll teach all the summer from Argentina online in the summer. That's why I'm not in person in the summer. And then I'm back here in the spring. So that's kind of, we're figuring it out that, so I'm teaching a lot when I teach, so everything is compact. You're going to be with me? Good. But anyway, so I'm just saying if you know, that's why if you notice the classes are pretty compact and solid in many hours because I'm just compacting my teaching schedule. But it's going to work, I think, I hope. And yeah, some classes might fail because some people can't sit here that long. I got it. But if you need to take a break, if it's too many hours sitting, I usually give 1 break in the middle. I could also have a vote, which I'm going to have right now since most of you guys are here, if you'd rather 2 shorter breaks instead of 1 break in the middle, right? So instead of 1 15-minute break, I can give 2 10-minute breaks, which is 20 minutes of break, and it's 2 breaks. So right now, I want to remind you, especially the Zoom people, the red and the green, and I had my red and green flags for the people here that are in person that I made last time. I didn't set them out for you. So here they are, and it's because online I asked people to give me red or green marks, and this wasn't the best solution, but it kind of is equivalent, right? So right now I'm going to have you vote green. So pull up the green flag, and everyone at home, pull up the green. Gigi, do you remember how to do that? Because, yeah, if you want 1 15-minute break in the middle, and I want you to bring up red if you want 2 10-minute breaks divided, because we're meeting for 3 and some hours, right? So 12:30, 3.5 hours. What's that? So 2 10-minute breaks. So give me a yes for 1 break, like Mary is doing, lift it up, and give me a no for 2 breaks. It's not no, it just means you prefer the choice of 2 breaks. Okay? Yes. All right, so here, and it's popular vote. So Carol, do you remember how to choose yes or no? Like go to the react, say, hi Linda. So go to and Yolanda, go to the little heart in the bottom that says react. This is also to get hold on to your things. I need to make sure that the Zoom people remember how to do this. Hold
I
on.
just have chat and
Okay,
participate.
right next to the chat, if you don't see a heart that says react, then go to the 3 dots of more
Oh, okay.
and look for the word react. Sometimes when the
Ah,
window is really tiny, it hides under more.
oh, okay, I
And then
got
you
it.
click on that react, and then you'll see lots of emojis. And in the middle of all those emoji little drawings, you'll see a red circle with a green check mark or
Yeah.
a red circle with an X. Did you find it, Linda? Okay, so give me a green if you want 1 break. Give me a red if you want 2 breaks. Yolanda, are you there? I know sometimes you're in and out. I'm not sure because I don't see you. And usually when you're on, you turn on your video. But I'm not sure. There you are. Okay, you disconnected yourself. So do you remember how to get to the green and the red buttons? I can't hear you, Yolanda, if you're speaking, but you did find the colors. Okay, so now that they've all chosen, you guys get to choose, and I'll count. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 greens, 1, 2, 3 reds. Okay, so we're going with one in between break. Okay.
All right, I'll
In
leave. I need to.
democracy, usually when there's 20 people, there's more choices, but it's not. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to do that, and I have the alarm set up right now for a 1 break. Usually it's in the middle, which is around 2, which is about an hour and a half in. Now, if I'm in the middle of something, it might be 2:10, or if I don't want to start it yet until a break, it might be at 10 to 2, like around that time when the subject matter works, because I can't be precise. Yeah. And then we'll do a 15-minute. I have an alarm, so it'll ring at 2. It rings, and then if I'm near enough, I'll check and I'll go, well, let's do it earlier. But if not at 2, it reminds me, and I'll go, okay, give me 5, and we'll do it in 5 minutes. And that's it works out that way. Okay? All right, so good. So you have chosen. let me clean your, something I forgot to say the other day, you Zoom people,
Oh,
can you please, hold on,
oh crap. No, I lost it. Damn.
can you please write in the chat a little hey ho to kind of sign in? All right, so good afternoon. I just wrote in the chat. If you see a good afternoon with a big O and a small O, I notice I wrote, that's me. Wherever you see that, that's where you write in the chat. Go ahead and give me a hi or whatever back. It doesn't. You don't need to say who you are or anything. It'll just say Yolanda says hi, Carol says hi. It'll just be whatever name you have in there. Okay. So give me a little check-in with that. And then the next thing that we're going to do, hi Gigi, there we go. So Gigi just answered hello this Wednesday. And so Carol and Yolanda, if you guys have a chance to do that as well, that'll help. And I'm going to clear your yeses and nos. So we're starting from 0, and I'm doing that on the other screen. All right, good. Now, last class was recorded. All of you guys were here, so you might not have needed to access the recording, but as we get deeper into the subject matters, even if you're here, sometimes you want the recordings to review. And sometimes you're not here, or you have an appointment or a meeting and whatever, and you still want, and you do need the recordings, because remember that if you are missing a class, my request is to still watch the recordings, not to just come without it. Now, if the question is, I didn't watch it, can I come? Of course, duh, don't but if I've spent, an hour and a half on something and you don't know it at all because you haven't watched the recording, I'll ask you to go watch the recording, and the next time ask me your questions. I can't reteach you something that took me an hour and a half. Now, if it's just a comment, of course I can. So questions, like I watched the recording and I still have questions about this. Oh, I'm 100% available for that kind of thing, right? But how do you get to these recordings? So there's something that happens where the recordings are private. They're going to be on YouTube, but they're private, so you can't just search for them, because otherwise the whole world would be able to search for them and see them. So the only way for you guys to watch these recordings is to actually click on a link that I give you. Plan B, which is more complicated, is to actually subscribe to me on YouTube, and then you go there and you find the right recording, and there's so many recordings for so many classes. That is possible, but it's complicated. So just click on the link I give you. But I can't be sending individual links to people, so I put them in my class handouts. I'm trying to devise an easier way to access them, because for some people it's still complicated. It's through Canvas, which is a program the school uses to teach classes. I don't know if it'll be easier or harder for people to access it. I'll see if I can test it sometime this session when I get to that. But right now it's in the school Google Drive, which you all have access to through your pipeline accounts. Now, I know that when I first arrived, you all accessed your pipeline accounts, the people who were here in person. Those of you who are at home, if you haven't yet accessed your pipeline accounts, I'm going to share my screen now, and I am going to access Pipeline to show you how to get to these recordings, okay? Also, if you find the email that I sent you last night, I have a video there. So first we're going to go look at yesterday's email, the one that, and I purposely, normally I sent it in the morning of the day of the class, but I purposely sent it yesterday for you guys to read it. There's some things in there that are important. So I'm going to share this screen. Okay. All right. And in this screen, I'm going to go over to, that's just my Zoom. I'm going to go over to the search bar. And so everyone, yeah, I see Evelyn's already there. And go to, if you go to my.sbcc, it's one step less. Okay? But if you just go to sbcc.edu and then hit return, instead of going to Google, you go straight, like, you guys look at my screen. If I then go here to Google suggestions, then I have to get it in from Google. But if you write .edu, you'll go there directly. So if you go sbcc.edu and hit your return or enter, you go directly there. Okay? From here, it's one more step you need to go over here to my.svcc. When you do that, it takes you in to the sign-in. Now, since I had already signed in a bit earlier, it went straight in. Now, let me show you another way to do this. Instead of doing those two steps, I could go ahead and write my.sbcc.edu, which is my.sbcc.edu. So it's one extra my.sbcc.edu. Then when you hit return, it takes you straight in to the sign-in sheet. Again, I've already signed in, so it's considered me signed in, but it takes you to the sign-in. So it's one less step. Both work. But if you're in the main one, you need to remember to go click to that little tiny icon that says my. It's so tiny you can't even tell it says my.sbcc.edu, but that is what it says. Does that make sense? Once you've signed in with your pipeline account and you're here, this is how I also recorded on the general email that I sent saying, hey guys, these are all the classes I'm teaching. I recorded a new video and I put it in there showing you how to register online. And I'm just showing you for all those of you who seem to need to register in person or who come and fill in the, right? It's as simple as going to register for classes right there. And this is, you don't, well, I guess I could have you check if you're registered right now in my other classes. You click on register for classes. Okay, so everyone, let's try that since we're here. So go to class registration and schedule. And then click on register for classes. So at home, is everyone following? This is where I need you guys to tell me if it's working and you're following. So give me I'm having a bit of a, make it a little bit bigger so you can all see this better. So I'm going to move this over. Linda said yes. Gigi, you're giving me thumbs up. But see that beautiful little wave of thumbs up that flew by? If I'm not looking at that right now, then I don't see it. And then I'll be like, Gigi, did you do it? So the yes stays on versus the thumbs up and the hands and all of those, they disappear. Does that make sense? And Carol, were you able to sign into my.sbcc or SBCC?
I just got you on my screen. I
Okay.
can't seem to get it any
I'm going to stop my
smaller.
share to give you a chance to...
No, I got too much.
Okay, I'm going to stop my share to give you now a chance to open your own Safari or Chrome, whatever you use to browse. Okay, and then here, when you at the very top, when it,
class registration.
yeah, go, keep going up. This isn't the first thing. Keep scrolling.
Scroll up.
So here's something. Here, wait. What's happening right now? You know the guillotine? I'm sure you do. I'm about to chop off your hand. Why? She's doing it for Evelyn. Evelyn will never learn. Take your hand off the mouse. It is not helpful to do things for people. I only do it when they're in big trouble and like I need to help them out. Otherwise, you need to point with your finger and help. But otherwise, the guillotine comes down.
I don't see my class registration.
All right. So go all the way. Click on my SBCC again to see if it starts from the beginning. Does it reset or reset up here? Let me see. Because you scrolled out of the way. Yeah. There, that resets it. At the very top. It's the first choice. Once you start scrolling, you have to scroll all the way to the top.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have something different.
Okay. So go to click on SBCCDU. You went to a little bit more. So let me start. Let's try sbcc.edu. See, you're already, no, because you're in this weird, take all that out. You're inside of my SBCC already, just for now. Yeah, it's taking you, well,
Shall I go?
just go here to SBCC.
See, I get myself in
No,
trouble.
exactly, that's fine. So this is I'm just trying to explain. This is everyone, no matter if you're a student or not, arrives to sbcc.edu. But when you are a student, you go into my SBCC, which is where you were, and that is personal to you. You don't get in unless you sign in. So his is different than yours is different than his. So my SBCC is the student individual student portal. To get there, you click on that. Or, and you were already there, you do my.sbcc.edu. So go ahead and, hi Rod, go ahead and click on that. And now you are where you were before, which is fine. But when
And
it
it's gonna
first
be all this
opens,
announcement, all of this.
when you
what's
first show up, it'll be
I
like,
did.
oh, Bali, why? So just
I
go
read
ahead.
those already.
Yeah, but you
So
just, because I brought you here again.
again.
So got it. I hear you,
Okay, okay,
da 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 da. Because they're like, oh, a student, let me,
Yeah.
and there it is. So it's just at the very top. Okay, Carol, were you able to get there? Oh, here comes Julie.
I,
So you'll get to
I,
meet
I just
Julie. Oh, hold on.
do I just need to go to Safari and
Hi,
get
Julie. Nice to see you, Julie. Can you hear me? No, I'm not sure she can hear me. Hi, Julie. Can you hear me yet?
Hi.
Hi. There you are. Nice to see you. So, Carol,
Yeah.
I'm sorry I interrupted you. You said, yeah, go to Safari if you use Safari and type sbcc.edu. Or if you want to go straight into the registration, you go to my.sbcc. It's funny because when I look this way, I need to put it in the middle. Because once I do that, I don't know that you guys can hear me at home anymore. Okay, now you should be able to hear me at home as well. All right, so my.sbcc.edu. Rod, sit wherever you're comfy. It's good to sit next to people so you can help each other. There we go. And there's two rods in class. So when I say Rod, since you're on two sides of the aisles, you'll have to see who I'm pointing to. What did you just say? Oh, got it. That's fine. I don't mind, but I'm just how few we are, and there's two. Now, I know that you're Rodney. I don't know if he's Rod or Rodney. I don't know. We'll find out. I've only known him as Rod in the roster. He shows up as Rod, versus he on the roster shows up as Rodney. So maybe he's just a Rod. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, Carol.
I'm in my login and it keeps failing. They don't like my password.
Okay, and it only gives you 5 times, right? So that's a
Right.
good one to have this computer memorize it. Okay? Got it, Julie. Thank you. Aw, and thank you for being in the class, Julie. So I'm showing people how to sign up online. Okay? A lot of people sign up by either coming in person or sending the form. But I recorded a video that I attached to the email that I sent saying, hey, these are my classes, but I haven't shown it to you again. So I'm going to show you the process to sign up online, because for a lot of the things, for example, the classes that are very highly popular, if you attend this session, there was a technical snafu. But if you put in a piece of paper, they have a stack of paper, and they might take 2 or 3 days. Mary just signed up online, and they told her it won't be in right now. They take time. They have to enter everything in person, and you might not get signed in for 2 days. By then, the class might be full. You know what I mean? Because as it fills up, as the people get to the paperwork, the people who are signing up online have already gotten in. Does that make sense? Now, my classes used to be very full. They're not anymore, which is a concern, but whatever. So you don't need to do this for my classes, but it is a good thing to know how to sign up online, so you can sign up even if you're on vacation or whatever. You don't have to be here in person. And also it's so that you get to know the my.sbcc and move your way around. Now, actually, I want to make sure that you're all signed up for the Mac Level 1 and Level 2 and the photos class, the iLife, if that's what you're interested in doing. But I know some of you are and some of you aren't. So we're going to do it here. So, Carol, were you able to get in with your password yet?
Well, I'm into all this general junk about the class registration, student
Oh, okay.
registrations.
So you're into the SBCC portal. That's all that matters. And the only one who did their homework as an email for today was Mary. I don't know if anyone else made a list on a note right next to it. But remember your guys' homework? Who remembers what your guys' homework was?
To look up
Okay.
the Yeah.
It was try to do things that you have questions about and write them down.
Oh,
And I also said you might want to send me a quick email if you think it might be something that's not part of the class, that's different, so I'm aware of what you're interested in. Now, it's okay if you didn't send the email. Most importantly is if you took note of things that, hi, Rod, I was saying you're also one of those who has been to these classes quite a few times. And so and because of who's here, I don't necessarily want to just go from the beginning ABC. I want to go a little bit deeper for questions that maybe I don't usually cover. And yes, it's important to know the basics as well. Um, because sometimes you just forget, or it's been a while since you did the class, or you've upgraded a computer and suddenly it looks different. So I'm not going to not cover some of the basics if that's what you need to know. But my request was, is there anything that you tried to do that it still doesn't work for you, or you don't know what's happening, or you have some questions that seem basic, but hey, this is the basic class, and you think you should know, but you're embarrassed to ask because what if everyone else knows it? No, 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 no. We're going to assume no one knows anything, and those who know it, fine, and those who don't, and they'll just get a review, and those who don't know it, that's the way to ask, because I don't know what you don't know until you tell me what you don't know. I can guess, right? I mean, I can guess what you need to know, and that's what I teach. But maybe my priorities aren't your priorities always, right? Also, as I said, looking at who's here, which it's a very small class, and I'm so glad they allowed it to go. And as of now, they haven't complained and said anything, so I'm going to cross my fingers that they don't. But other than Evelyn, you've all been in my classes before in one or another. So I know that you're not absolute beginners. And Evelyn is comfortable with a computer. I can tell by how she moves around her computer. She just isn't a Mac person, right? But if she were a complete beginner, this wouldn't work. I would have to start from zero. But she's comfortable with her phone and her computer on a PC world and on an Android world. And Julie, by the way, is also an Android person. Just letting you know so you don't feel like you're alone in this, Evelyn. But she has a Mac computer. And Evelyn's niece has a Mac computer, and she's trying to figure out the world of Macs. Okay? And to get more practice on a computer. So, fine. I always say, I'm from Argentina. I don't know if I said it to this class. I'm from Argentina. I'm bilingual on words. Some of you are from other countries. But it's good to be bilingual on computers as well. And you're like, no, I just want to know how to handle mine. Don't make me learn everything. I won't. But if you happen to have a different system, I'll support you on that different system. That's what I mean, right? As much as I can within the Mac world, things are very similar. They just have a different name, or they're on the left instead of on the right, or something like that. So that's good. All right. So Gigi was mentioning, if you guys read the chat. Now, Gigi, most people can't read it except for people who are here because you wrote it just to me. You said, I tried using Spotlight and it was successful even though I have not upgraded to Tahoe. I found a document that was misplaced because that's something I taught last week. But notice that she sent it just to me, which because I am sharing my screen, you're seeing it, but everyone else at home isn't seeing it. So next time you write to me on the chat, guys, make sure that it goes to everyone, not to me. Now, if you need to tell me my head hurts, something like that, I'm going to walk away and you don't want to tell the world, fine, send it just to me. Now, since I am sharing the chat, that's not going to work because it wouldn't be private. So I'm going to actually set that window apart in my other monitor so that you can say something like personal and no one else will read it. So now the world isn't seeing your chat, so you can tell me something personal. I had it in the front before. All right. So what I was trying to do, and this was all a bit of an aside, what I was trying to do, here's Bob, here we go, is congratulate Mary because she sent me an email with questions that came up for her. And I mentioned that I was going to naturally talk about a lot of things except for the word portal. And then here I am mentioning the word portal right now. So I'm going to talk about that. But she asked about what's the difference, and I don't have exactly all the words right now, but what's the difference between file and folder and account, some like those basic concepts that we all throw around. And maybe not in this intro to the Mac, but I will, over the next few classes, be talking exactly about all those concepts. In fact, all the file folder, that gets distinguished in Mac Level 1, which starts in a couple of weeks. But a couple of other of the words that you asked me I will be talking about right now. So again, it doesn't matter. Some of you might go, oh, I know the distinction between file and folder, but she doesn't. And someone else might be, I know how to do this, but the others don't. So this is my request. To make this class be worthwhile to everyone, please consider that thing that you were trying to do last week and didn't know how to do. Write it down. That thing that you tried tonight and I would like some more help with this. It kind of works because it happens, but I don't know how or why. Those are the kind of things that I want you to write down and ask me during class. And as I said, if it's something that you know I've never talked about, send me an email so that I'm a bit more ahead of time aware. And we'll do this it's an ongoing homework, okay? I can, as I said, I don't have any new students here other than Evelyn. I can tailor the class beyond the norm to something that is more specific to your needs. And I assure you that everyone will be like, oh, I never even thought of that, right? Sometimes I get to teach certain things more than others. Sometimes I've gone all in on notifications, and the next time I don't touch it. Sometimes I go all in on Spotlight. Other times I don't even mention it, right? So it all depends. Now, to Gigi's comment about Spotlight, which is what we did last class, and then I'm going to continue with what I was saying. I wanted to say, on Tahoe, Spotlight has even more options, and that's the difference between the regular Spotlight. Even last class, I showed you Spotlight, how it works on Tahoe and on Sequoia, that it in a pretty similar way. I just said you could go down into folders and files. But what you can do now, those of you who are in Tahoe, and again, I told you I can't demo it yet, but a couple of you are in Tahoe, you can actually ask it to do things for you, and that's the Apple Intelligence part. You can open Spotlight and say, send an email to Diana. And it will open up the email and send it. Like, send an email to Diana that says I'm going to be late for class. And it will open up Spotlight. It will send an email to me that says I'll be late for class, signed Rod. That's what Spotlight can do now. Okay? So that's something I can't demo until I have Tahoe. But I'm giving you a little inkling of some of the things that are new that maybe are like, oh, that's great. So for better or for worse, it's trying to be more helpful. At some point, that's good and that's bad. Because if you get accustomed to doing that each time, what if when you do need to write one if you forgot how to write it? It's kind of like, I don't remember phone numbers of anyone anymore. So the day that I'm in trouble and I need to write a phone number, I won't know it. So again, is that good or bad? Before we knew everyone's important people's numbers. So in a way, having AI do things for us is good and bad. Like, I want you to know how to write your own email, but guess what? You're going to be able to open up Spotlight, the same place that you find the files. Gigi found a file she was looking for over the last couple of days. Just like you can have it do that, you can also tell it, send a text to Mary and tell her to bring cookies, whatever. You know what I mean? So those of you who have Tahoe, which right now are Denise and Rodney, give it a try. I don't know. But for now, I'm just presenting that. And there's other stuff it can do. But that's a bit, what's one of the tools that's changed the most, because they added Apple Intelligence to it. Most of the tools are pretty similar in Sequoia. It's just every app that we're going through has a bit more of that AI into it, that it does things for you if you use it. But the basics of how you use them all is still the same to all of them. Okay? All right, so back to what I was doing. Hi, Bob. By the way, sorry, you popped in when I was talking. And you have Tahoe too, right? You upgraded to Tahoe, Bob?
Yes, I do. Oops.
Yeah, so it's 3 of you guys who have Tahoe. Okay, that's good. You were trying to say something and I interrupted you, or?
Oh, yeah. No, I wasn't sure if my speaker was on.
Yeah. You're on. Okay. I just wanted to confirm that you had whether you had tried that at all. I don't know if that's something you've played around with at all or not. But
Yes, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about it. I haven't.
Yeah.
But it works great.
Yeah. It does. Yeah. And depends on what you ask. I mean, it's not perfect yet, and sometimes it does or doesn't understand what you're asking for. But it's pretty cool. All right. Let me just say, I'm looking over here for a second. I'm going to share. Okay, I'm not going to show you the whole process of registering, like how you find CRNs and stuff like that. I'm just going to show you when you have the CRNs, like from my email or from the catalog. So I'm not showing you how to explore the college for classes. I'm just showing you when you have the CRN, how do you avoid filling out the form or standing in line? That's all. So if you have a CRN, you know what you want to sign up for. That's what I'm going to share again. So I'm going to back out of here because this is the page Carol is in, and I'm going to share from here. So I'm going to go ahead and share over here. So here's where you landed on the My SBCC, the one that is your personal one. Okay, SBCC ID you use for everyone. My.SBCC is your files, your registrations, your stuff. Carol, is this the page that you're on?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's up?
Just wondered where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, if this is where you're at, this is where you're supposed to be. Now, mine says things like faculty and what, because, you know, I'm faculty, but yours should have, come at the top left, it should have this thing that says class registration and schedule. Do you all see that one? Do you see this one, Carol?
Yes.
Okay, so then let's go to register for classes. This is assuming you know the CRN. Yeah, this is assuming you know the code right now. So I'll show you how to get in. Well, let me see. Let's go to register for classes and then I'll stand in there. Okay, so watch. When you get to this page, this is also a way to see what classes have you already registered for. So for now, I'm not going to do that. Right now, I'm going to go to the actual register for classes. Okay, so click on registration. Now, for those of you at home, I need to get from you guys a yes that you're following the step, right? Hold on, I need to make this a little bit bigger so everyone here can follow. Why is it not? Sorry, but my Zoom is not getting bigger. There we go. I was trying to get bigger for everyone. And I want to see you all, so I'm going to move this over a little bit. Okay. So now, cool. So let's click on register for classes. There we go. Since I waited so long, it's asking me to sign in again. And this is because we've been talking, and it just goes, okay, you need to sign in again. So maybe in your case you have already signed in, maybe not. But I had to log in again because after 10 minutes or whatever. And then, since I'm student and faculty, it's asking me something that it won't ask you. Do you want to be a student or a faculty member right now? So here we go. So now we're here. Is everyone here? Did you all get into select a term? So, Rod, you're going to have to use your pipeline to sign into your computer. Whenever you have a chance, then you can follow through. But for now, terms open for registration. Right now, you click on there, and you, for some reason, it seems to say you can register for fall 2025, which you can't. So click on spring 2026 and say continue. Spring 2026. Yeah, so here's the thing. I was going to look for the classes. Oh, I'm so sorry, Bob. I hear what you just wrote.
Yeah, thank you.
Very, very sorry. It's just on a personal level. It's been a bad year. The last 6 months, I've had so many people near and dear pass away. I don't know. I really feel for you, and stay as long as you're very comfortable. I don't need to call on you or anything. Do whatever you feel comfy with. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So here we are. Is everyone here? At home, give me a yes. Let me clear your answers. Give me a yes if you made it to this page. Because this page before was one where you just put in the CRNs. But now, if you notice, there's no place to put a CRN that's asking you subject and course number and level. This is a search, and it'll mess you up, unless you don't know the CRN. So let's avoid that. And see over here, it says find classes. Right next to it, it says enter CRNs. Click on the enter CRNs. And now, as long as you know the CRN, it's easy to register. But you need to know the CRN. So right now, I'm going to tell you, if you know that you've signed into all of them, then don't. But you're all in the Mac class, of course. If you want to register into the Mac Level 1, well, and how do you check if you are already set into the Mac Level 1 or not? Watch. Down here. You check down here, okay? And this is telling you what you're already signed in for, okay? So you scroll up and down, and if you see Mac Level 1, Mac Level 2, and iLife, then you're signed on for all of them. If you don't see Mac Level 1, Mac Level 2, or iLife, I will now show you how to do that. So, again, those of you, some of you are already in one of the other, but maybe you're not on all three or on all four. And maybe you can't take the classes. They are all on the exact same schedule. Monday, Wednesday, 1 to 12:30 to 4, or thereabouts, 4:15, 4:05, one of those. So they're exactly the same, all the way through till April 19th, or April 16th, or something like that, right? So if you want to take the Intro to the Mac Level 1, there's two CRNs. There's the in-person and the online. So for the in-person people who are not in Mac Level 1, I do know that Mary is in it because I had to look at the roster before. I can check and see who's there, actually, if you want to make it easier for you guys. But I'm just saying, this is where you put it in. So for example, if you want to be in Mac Level 1 online, you would put in 51600. I'm going to put that, maybe I should probably put that in the chat. So I'm going to write to everyone. And so online Mac Level 1 is 51600. Online, let me call it room 3. It's one person. It's 52471. Okay? So that's if you want Mac Level 1. Then if you want Mac Level 2, online is 51601. I think you're not in Mac Level 2 right now. Mac Level 2? Well, maybe you are. Okay, you were just not in this one. And in person, instead of room 3, it's easier, so there's no other number, is 52321. You're in number 1. So this is one that you'd have sent that into. Now, some of you can choose to be like Gigi was in person last week, that Monday, and today she's online. And Mary is going to be in person right now, and then she's going to go online to have, So it's okay to do that. But choose the one that you think is your most likely, and then you choose according to the day, okay? And then let me put the Living the iLife, it's called, which is the photos. Living the iLife photos class is only on Zoom. It's only online. And that one is 51755. These are all, the reason I'm showing them is because these are all exactly the same schedule and whatnot, so it should be easy for you guys to, in a sense that if you can do it, it's the same schedule. Some people have other classes in the way or whatever, but technically Monday, Wednesday, since you're here, you probably can keep doing it. If so, I'm going to go ahead and put in here one of those numbers, and I can't sign myself up, it's kind of weird, but 151755, for example. You just put it in there. But what if you want to set up 2 other classes? So then you click add another CRN, and then you go, whatever, 51600. I'm not going to go ahead and click on add to summary because it's my own class. I can't sign up to my own, you know what I mean? But once you put those in, you hit add to summary. But this is the important thing. Add to summary is not signing in. Once you hit add to summary, it'll appear over here and it'll say pending. And in the video, I did it so that you can see. I have a little video that I sent you in the email that actually shows it because I did sign in. I used my son's account and I signed him in so that I could show you. And then it just says pending. So then this little word here says submit. You need to click submit. So you need to do that last piece. Then it registers you. Okay? So that's important. As you can see, I'm signed up for some jewelry classes and stuff. Okay? That's the process, and that's it. That's all it needs. Now, and it shows you a little thing showing you where the classes might be. Now, just so you know, if perchance it says pending or can't or whatever, it could be that you have, I'm going to stop my share, it could be that you have an error in the numbers that you typed in, or check that the number is correct 2 or 3 times. Otherwise, you might be signing up for, I don't know, yoga. Who knows? Because the numbers are one number away from someone else. So check and make sure that it's the class that is there is the one that you wanted. And then if you want and it also might tell you that it can't because there's a conflict. Maybe you're in another class at the same time. Even if one is a 4-hour class and one is a 20-hour class, you can't sign up for both, even for one day. So you have to choose one. Maybe you talk to the instructor. Maybe you take a couple of days and then you take that one and then you can sign up for the rest of the other days. Do something like that. But as long as one is still one-day class, the other one pending, it won't let you sign in. There's a conflict there. And that makes no sense for us non-credit people because why can't you do that? Just miss one day. But in credit, you wouldn't be able to take, it's the same system, credit, non-credit, and you can't take 2 classes that overlap because you wouldn't be able to get the credit for both, right? So that's why they don't let us do that thing. Anyway, so those are the MAC classes. I teach a bunch of others, and I think the one that you might be interested in, which Evelyn took last session, I don't know if anyone else here took it, which is the Intro to Handheld Devices. So Intro to Handheld Devices is, let me put it in the chat. Intro to Handheld Devices, and that class is going to be on Fridays from 2:30 p.m. Hold on, 2:30 p.m. to 4:50 p.m. And we are going to meet, I believe, it's once a week, and I believe it's four times. We meet 4 times once a week. And the CRN for that one is online and in person. Okay, so online, it's a high flex. Online is 52327, 52327, and in person 52533. 52533. I think I got those right. Okay, so if that's something that you're interested in, I mean, create compelling content, there's but more. Ask me more. All my art classes and all of that, I can tell you more. But those are the ones that make sense of part of this whole conversation. Okay? So that's why Evelyn's here. She took that class last time. And here we go. And that's what interested her in learning more about these devices. Okay. So there you go. And that one, oh, I didn't tell you when that's happening. Sorry, the dates for that one. It's 4. And it starts March 20th to April 14th. So that I forgot to say. March 20th to April 14th. So basically every Friday afternoon for just 4 times at end of March through mid-April. Okay? So that's the Intro to Handheld Devices. I figured more of the people who are coming to all these spring cleaning classes by then would know and fill it up. And that one, it's going to run because already it has 9 people by March, meaning if people sign up, it's going to run. More people need to sign up, but there you go. And then we talked about a lot more than what we talk here. We're going to now keep delving deep into the iCloud, all the Mac stuff, the clouds, the files. But there we talk more about, we also have ebook readers and AirTags and headsets and phones and that kind of stuff, connections, all that kind of thing, but it's not deep like here that we go deep into the files. It's more like, it's general and deep. First of all, it's questions that, again, it's very much led by what kind of devices students bring and what kind of questions they have, but also showing you things that you might not know that are possible to be done with these things, how they connect, how they work, and different kind of devices. It's the first time you'll hear me talk about Androids, Julie. Androids and how to then connect to the other systems. Anyway, last time there was so much interest in one particular iPads and tablets, and there was so much interest in certain things that no one was interested in ebooks last time. So I had a whole bunch of talk about that, and they're like, voted it down. So I went with what the class wanted to know, right? Ebook readers and Kindles and stuff like that. So I'll go with what kind of devices you all have, and we'll work from there. I mean, there is a set series of things that I'll teach everyone, but I also, like I am being here, open to, if no one is interested to hear about ebooks, why would I talk about ebooks? You know, that kind of thing. All right. Maybe I am a big audio book and ebook reader, so I was like, really? You guys don't want to know about this? Okay. All right. Okay. So, again, that's what I'm saying. I know what I want and want to teach, and then you're like, no, not right now, thank you. So, okay. All right. Enough. I'm going to clear your answers, and now I'm going to take you to the class files for recordings. So that was how to register for classes, and of course any other art classes or whatever else that you're interested in. Do it that way. That's how to register. Now, I'm sharing again. Now, when you're in this registration mode, it opened as a separate tab. You see how it opened here and that I still have the word dashboard there? That's how when you click on this thing, it will open as a separate tab. That means I have two different tabs open. So if I'm done with registration, I don't need it anymore. You can just close it. Click on this little X right there. And if you're on Chrome, the X is on the right side. You close it. And you're back in the original dashboard. So from this dashboard, everyone go back to this dashboard, because now I'm going to show you how to get to the class handouts, class recordings, that kind of thing. And what we're going to do, the system uses Pipeline. Pipeline is Gmail. And this is important for you guys to know, because it doesn't say Pipeline here anymore. It used to say Pipeline. Now it just says Gmail. See that? And you're like, Gmail? It's the school Gmail, which is Pipeline. It won't get you access to your personal Gmail. It gives you access to the Pipeline Gmail. I wish it would say Pipeline Gmail, because this confuses people. You expect to go find your emails there from your friends. It's like, no, this is only Gmail from Pipeline. But this is the way to do it. For some people, and watch, I don't recommend this. You don't see this red thing. Depending, if your window is really small, you might just be seeing this. Or you might, if the window is even smaller, watch, you might be seeing, and I'm making my window smaller for those of you at home. See how I don't see that red bar right now? So you might have a small window and you're like, what red bar is she talking about? But then you see the word email and drive right here. And I'm telling you, I want to go to our email and drive. The problem with going through this process here, which makes sense, it's right there, it's big, is that if you also have a personal email, sometimes it connects to your personal email, and then you don't see Pipeline, and then it's confusing if you don't know how to switch accounts.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Every time I said,
Why are you here and not there?
I want my own Gmail. What?
Yeah, and now this one, and I don't know why they can't fix it to be just Gmail. It might, if you are signed into your Gmail, and then if you know how to then sign out of that account and sign into your account, you can still do it. But why bother? Go to the one on the red bar, and that one takes you to a regular Gmail. Or there's another plan. So watch. How do you get that red bar if your window is small? That's as big as your computer makes it. Those three little lines there, so for everyone who doesn't see the red bar, click on those three little lines, and the red bar pops up. It covers it, and then you go down to the Gmail right there. Okay? And that should be your Pipeline email. But if perchance that is not your pipeline email, which is a possibility, and I had one person only up till now click on this one, and they just didn't see the word Gmail, or two people last session, they just did not have the word Gmail over here at all. And you can edit it and take it out, and they might have taken it out. So there's a possibility you don't see the word Gmail here. So the last possibility is if you scroll all the way down to student menu, student resources menu, and this is just showing you way too many options, but I'm just trying to cover the spectrum. Keep scrolling to student resources menu. When you click on that, then you go to essential resources. It's hiding, but it's there. Now, why am I bringing you to this one? Please come to this one. I don't need that one. Please come to this one because I want to show you something else that hides here under essential resources, which is not just my classes, but it's LinkedIn Learning and all of the LinkedIn Learning tutorials. So I went all the way down to student resources. So I went down to student resources and then clicked on essential resources. Now I'm going to click on it and I am here. Once you get here, let me know, and if not, I'll help you. Now, why I want you to bring you here is because this is truly your school email, school pipeline Google email, school pipeline Google Drive, which is where you have my class files. But you also have LinkedIn Learning. You also have free Microsoft if you want to download it into your computer. There's just so much stuff here that you can use. And if you need, for example, support because you can't hear me and you need support because your back hurts, you need a special chair, you can go to DSPS Online where you can tell them, I need more support. These are different things that I need to teach. And all students that are part of City College can click on that and say, or I have a learning disability, or I have a hearing disability, or whatever, things that we don't consider self-disability, but the school puts it into that term. And they send a special chair, or that's why those tables in the back that can raise or come down exist for people who need to stand. So you let yourself be known to the school as someone who needs certain things, and then when you take a class, they provide. At some point, there was someone who couldn't hear. It's been a while now they did that, and they gave me a special kind of link that talks straight into their ears, stuff like that. Okay. So anyway, just showing you that this is here. One way or another, you get to do Google email. Okay? So through all the ways I showed you, you get to Google email. So now, is everyone in Google email at this point? Yes? Give me a yes at home if one way or another. Your Google email might look different than mine because mine I have set it up differently. But give me a yes at home if you made it to Gmail in one way or another. Maybe you went to the word Gmail up here. Maybe you went all the way down to resources and clicked from it here. But I want you to be in your email. Now, Evelyn. Is it because we're still not registered? That is so weird. Why wouldn't you? Yeah, you were registered.
I was late enrolled, maybe.
Oh, so if you were late enrolled, yeah, I'm updating it. Long story, they changed the way the school works, and I can't access the roster anymore. Emma has to send it to me. And since you enrolled on the day, I'm going to ask her at the end of today, I'm going to say, please refresh my email. So that's why you didn't get it. I'm sorry, but I'll go send it to you right now. The email that I sent to people today or last night. Yeah, so let me go to my sent, and I'll send it to you. Here it is, and I'm going to forward it to you. Let me forward this to, is anyone else ever, Evelyn Buitre, there you go. There we go. Yeah. So now send it to Pipeline. What's that? Rod, you're not in it because you weren't registered for me. So I'm going to send it out. No, but there you go. I'm going to send it to you right now. Rod is your, not Ross, Rod. Are you just Rod or are you, I got the wrong one. I got Rodney, which is him. Are you Rod originally? That's how you're registered, or are you also a Rodney? You just use Rod, but you are a Rodney or something like that? Or a Roger, or
Rodney Francis May June.
You're also a Rodney. Oh, how funny! My husband is one of those junior, the third, the whole, and he's a Harold. No one calls him Harold; they call him Jack because there's so many Harolds and Howells and whatever. So, anyway, so this is the email that I sent you guys. So was everyone able to find the email that I sent you? Did everyone get it? Linda, everyone else was technically registered, so you should have all gotten it. Yes, give me a yeah. Linda, did you get it? I can see you, so you can just nod if you. Carol, are you guys seeing the school pipeline?
I'm in Gmail.
The pipeline Gmail? Like, do you see from me an email that I sent last night?
Yeah, I got a whole bunch from you.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I also sent people going, please sign up. All right. So watch my screen. If you found it, you found it. So here it is for those of you. Here's the link, what time to connect. And then I added, remember that if you cannot make it to the entire class, in order for this class to still be supported, they need you to attend. Otherwise, the school doesn't get paid by the state for it to be a free class. So at the very least, please click on the link on Zoom from your phone, anywhere you are. You're in LA visiting your friend or whatever. At around sometime between 12:30 and 4, click on this link, join us with your phone, and wait until I get your name because it might just say iPhone joined. And then I don't know who joined because then you go, okay, I've joined, I can leave. But then I need to make sure I know if it's Mary or Rob, one of the Rods, and then I'll change your name and then you can leave. And then you can watch the recording, okay? But I need your attendance. So that would have been. And then down here, I said, please use this link to view a video that shows you how to access the class recordings. So if you need to get to the class recordings and you forgot, and I'm not around to ask, click on this, and it's a video that'll show you how to do exactly what we're doing today. We're going to the class handouts, okay? Now, each time I send the link, before I would just send the link. Now I'm putting all of this in that weekly email. So at most, you have it from 2 days ago or 3 days ago. And it's Friday, and you want to see the recordings, and how did I do it? Go to that email. Click on this link and go, oh, that's how we did it, okay? I just forwarded it to you. You should have just received it. If you check on your school email, I sent it to your pipeline email because that's the one that I have here in your pipeline account. Yeah, so here it is. I will add you to the list, you and Evelyn, because you registered late. And Mary, I don't have you yet on the roster that it came out yesterday. No. Because you told me you were coming to class, so I added you. But it's not the roster. You just signed in today, so when I refresh the roster, I will get you guys officially in. Okay? Did you get it now? You see it, Ron? Okay, great. How about at home? You all have it? You all were able to find the email and click on the video. So just try, click on this video, and you'll see it takes you to a video of me showing you. And then there's always an ad at first. And then I start talking to you. And I obviously recorded it in winter because look at how dressed up I am. But there we go. Okay? Now, it says spring 2025 because things have been changing so much. But I need to take out that name on it by now. But anyway. So, cool. So, I'm going to edit this. What's that? Don't even, that's a whole different, that's not, right now that's a YouTube thing, I don't even want to go. I do have a YouTube class that you can take. that I could have mentioned.
I want to think everything.
Yeah, but that's not it. So then you listen through that, and basically I go through the steps and show you, because the process changes all the time. So this is the one I read, but this time it has been this way for a year. Okay? All right. So now, all right, so good. So now I've shown you how to get to the email. Okay, that doesn't help if what I'm trying to do is get you to get to your recordings. So this is your email. Once you're in your email, if, by the way, had you gone this mode, then you can just click on Google Drive right there. But if you went email, which is what I told you to do, because I want you guys to know how to get to your emails, now, watch. Over here on the top right, you should see SBCC and maybe your initials, which shows you you're in the SBCC pipeline versus your personal. Right next to it, see this little waffle icon? It's called a waffle icon. It looks like a waffle icon. Click on the waffle icon, and here's the drive. Click on your pipeline Google Drive. Click on the waffle icon, and all these possible things pop up, and we want to share. Go to the drive.
So that's the drive.
That's your pipeline Google Drive, not your personal Google Drive, your pipeline Google Drive. I'm clearing your feedback, and now I want you to tell me yes if you got to this place, clicked on it, and here you are, and you're welcome to your pipeline Google Drive. It's indistinguishable from your personal Google Drive, and that's why it's important, because you need to look and see what's there. And if these files are none because you've never used it, then it's your pipeline one. Maybe you don't use your personal one either
Look at mine. I didn't go.
because you've never been there. So if you've never been there, it might go, welcome.
I
There's, welcome to Drive, right?
Oh, I
But
don't
it's
know
your
how to drive.
SBCC one. So hold on. It's your SBCC one. The only way to know it's your SBCC one, I have a lot of stuff. I use it a lot. You might have an empty one like Mary that says, welcome to Drive. That's fine. That means you haven't put anything in it. Okay? Now watch. Where will you find my class files? Head over to Shared Drives. Now this is important because some of you guys get confused and go to Shared with Me. It's just Shared Drives. So it's the same word is a bit confusing. Shared Drives. Click on Shared Drives. All right.
Ah, there it is. Okay.
Oh. Well, that's bizarre.
Yay!
Oh, because you're in your personal one.
Oh, okay.
Because stuff's on Gmail.
Yeah.
See that? So, you went to you're in your personal one.
Okay.
This is all personal.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know how you accessed it, but you didn't do it through the school. So if you let me make sure. You clicked on this one, and it went to your personal one. Oh, because it's trying to force you. See, verify it's you pipeline, and so now say yes, this is me, because if you go, that's why you need to go through the school account. Otherwise, you land in.
Oh, do I switch to Chrome?
You're switching another one. Do you want to go to that one? Go ahead and try that. Say okay. If it takes you, but say continue. It was. You were in your school one now, but well, let me.
Deanna, I can't hear your speaking. I can't hear you.
Thanks. You guys need to always remind me from home. This thing turns itself off, and the only way for me to know that you can't hear me is you doing exactly what Gigi did. Tell me I can't hear you, and then I just turn it on again. It seems to default to off every few hours. Okay, so the only problem here with Rod was that it said it did not have SBCC. He wasn't his personal email. He connected through Chrome instead of Safari. In Safari you can as well, but in Chrome he had created a profile that was personal, and it was forcing it back into his personal profile. So you have to tell it, no, I'm trying to go to the school one right now. I don't even want to go into that and what Chrome is doing. Just make sure that it says SBCC here. Then it has a shared drive, because your personal one doesn't have a shared drive. So now, clicking on shared drives, you should see here, if you're registered in the class, and I don't know if they got you in yet, you should see Mac Intro Level 1 and Level 2. But that's because you just signed up right now. Double click on that and you're in. Now, since she told you you won't be signed in yet, you still don't have it. So over here, put in your pipeline.
This is it or no?
Yeah, but let me stop you for a minute to see why you got this
I
page.
know. I'm just so crazy. I'm
No,
trying
it's
to
not
add.
you.
Yes,
Was this the SBCC one?
Yes, I did
Yes.
that, and then it
And when you click on shared drives,
I put this one for myself because I want to, but I guess I spell it.
so you don't see it
Yes.
because you're not officially in the class yet.
Gotcha.
Everyone else should see it. Rod, you signed up last Monday, right? So you should be seeing it. So go to shared drives, you're in there. Yeah. It's only Mary because she's not officially in it yet. And shared drives,
Yeah, that's what it said.
and then you double click on this one, Mac Level 1. Yeah, so Evelyn also took my YouTube class. So she still sees the handheld devices and the YouTube folders from last time, because until the class starts again, I let people be there. But anyone who is only in this class would be only with these files, except for Mary, because she just put in a paper today.
So sorry.
Sorry. What?
I'm not.
Shared drives.
Right. Okay. See,
And here's the Mac intro.
Oh.
Level. This is the last two classes. You were in the handheld devices and in the iLeft class, so this is your Mac intro. Okay, now Mary, we just did the whole registration. You could have just put in the number yourself and said go, and you'd be in right now. The CRN for the intro to the Mac. Yeah, you could have just done that. They'll email you later going, you're already signed in. Yeah, you didn't. That's okay. So I can write this down on a piece of paper. Write 52320, and we can go do that. All right, 52320. Okay, so guys, this is it. This is where it says Zoom class recording links. Enter to the Mac Spring 2026. Double click on that. Now, the reason I'm spending so much time here on this, you guys, is because this is going to be the same for every single class you take with me. I won't explain this again. I'll just go, you guys know, every single class, this is where the recording classes are going to be. And as you can see, last Monday's class is already there. Okay? For everyone, unless if you're not registered. So really quickly.
I need to register then. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Right?
just really quickly. Register. Go ahead and that's the break.
Okay.
Let me just do it because it's easier at this point, so that I can continue with the class. And then over here, write that number, 52320. That's my call for break, you guys. So I'm going to give you guys a break. Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Right first, right?
First, okay.
And then scroll down. And it's automatic. And now
Oh my gosh,
it will take, after break, probably it'll take a little bit of time that when you refresh,
it will be
you
able to
will
go to
be
the drive.
seeing it because you will be in it. But right now it's not
Yes, still taking.
because you just got, so even though it's there,
Yes.
they have to process it. So maybe after break, if you refresh, you'll have it. Okay.
What's the refresh time?
That little circle, it reloads the information.
They said close the browser and then open it again. I get this call all the time. So
You don't, usually the refresh is enough. All right, guys, if you made it here, click on this YouTube link to see what it's like, and you'll see. Now, I did notice that the sound was bad when I tried to hear it.
Yeah, I was hoping because
So this is me last week, and this is the recording. Okay, and everything that we did, remember the data centers. But there's a brrrr on it, and I don't know what and why. But you can still hear me.
goes into
There's like a little rattle, and I don't know if it's part of the microphone, so I want to see if this time it's still there. I'm going to have to ask for tech support, because the recording has a whole rattle the whole time. Anyway, that's the recording. And then we're going to go on a break for it in a second, but what this link is, look at my screen again. So first is a recording, and the second thing you see here, if you click on that, and then you click on this again, it takes you to a summary. It tells you a little summary of what we did. This is all put together by AI. I don't write this. So sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong, sometimes it's kind of weird. Diana did this, Diana did that. It's not me writing it. She shared information about this, she did this, she did that. I talked about the food pantry. There's other stuff here that you're interested in. And then it says, next steps. Go home, use your devices, note down any questions or issues, bring them to class. Okay, so it also picked up on the things I told you to do. So if you forgot, or if you missed a class, what did she say at the end? This tells you what happened, and then it goes a bit more into depth about the different things. So you can use it as a what happened, but not as a learning. It doesn't teach you how to do it. It just gives you an overview of what happened, and you go, oh, so kind of down here by the end of the class, she talked about the food pantry. Okay, so maybe that's what. So then you go to the recording and you scroll, right? So you go to see this little line here? You choose it to go to the beginning of the class, or you go to the ending of the class, or you go to the middle. So you don't have to sit, if you were gone only for the second part, you don't need to watch 3.5 hours. You can go to the second part and watch the part that you missed. Does that make sense? And you can review it and say it again, and can you show me again? And I still don't understand. Okay, make a note, and then in class you ask me, I know you showed it and I saw the video, but I still don't get this. Can you explain this? Can you explain that? Let's use this as a resource, like really use it, like go back to the recording. Now sometimes, I'm going to stop my share right now, sometimes that's hard to do between Monday and Wednesday. There's no time. But between Wednesday and Monday, you have enough time to maybe go and review. Oh God, on Tuesday she talked about all the stuff that, maybe I need to go and do this again. Okay? So then you have questions for Monday. All right, that is setting up the class. We haven't done anything new with respect to our Macs and devices right now, but I've set you up to hopefully be successful for the entire series. Let's take our break. When we come back, let's start working on our files, okay? Sorry if I'm putting you to sleep. Let's go ahead and I want more interaction so people will feel more. Okay, let's take a chat. It's going to be 15 minutes, so I'm going to write in the chat always the time. So it's 2:04, so that puts me at be back at 2:19 p.m. Okay, so if you know how to use Siri now and tell your phone, set a timer for 13 minutes. So in 13 minutes, wherever you are, you have 2 minutes to come back. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to say, hey Siri, set timer for 13 minutes. Thus, I'm using Siri, and in 13 minutes, wherever I am, I'm going to hear an alarm, and that gives me 2 minutes to be back in time. Okay? And it's not Siri on your phone. It's what do you tell your Android? It's not Alexa on your Android. What do you say? There's no way to talk to your Android to tell it to set a timer? I'm sure there is. Just set a timer, not an alarm, but just a timer. No, Gemini wouldn't set your phone up. We'll look into it. Do you know of anything you can tell your phone, Julie, to set an alarm like that?
I haven't ever done it.
Yeah, I'm going to look into it. But anyway, that's Apple.
I'm sure it does because
I'm
our
sure there's
daughter
a
has
way.
the Android.
Otherwise, just go and set a timer and tell it 15 minutes at a time. Not necessarily an alarm each time, because then you have to erase it, but yeah. Okay, see you guys in a little bit.
Thank you, Deanna. I have to sign off.
Okay, thank you. Bye, Julie. I'll see you next week.
Yes, have a good weekend, Deanna.
You too. I'm going to turn off my microphone.
Carol, can you hear me?
Yeah,
You, you, you might want to unmute yourself because there are little noises coming from your side.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to get to bring this back up. I don't know what, man, I feel like I've regressed or something. I can't get anything to work. Where do I find the mute? At the bottom
It's my first time also, so I'm having,
audio. Let me see the.
it's an experiment for
Okay,
me.
can you guys hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I forgot to mute you guys. Normally when we go on break, I mute everyone who's at home. And I do that so people can freely make noises without bugging others. I'm sorry, I'm hearing that that was a problem. So I just need to remember to mute everyone after I leave. So I was worried about my microphone and I forgot to mute the group. But in order to mute yourselves when you're on Zoom, you just go to the bottom left icon that says audio and just click on it and it'll turn itself off. Okay? And right now Carol is muted, so now you're muted. So now I can see you doing this, but I can't hear you. Click on it again, and I'll hear your voice. So click on that. There you go. Now you're unmuted, and now if you speak, I'll hear your voice. Okay? So
Do you
ideally,
want me muted or unmuted right now?
during class, stay unmuted. Stay fine during class. But say that someone walks into your room and starts asking questions, or the dog starts barking, or the plumber rings the bell. Then you might want to mute yourself. Or during break, maybe you want to turn on the radio and you're talking to friends and then everyone can hear each other. So I mute everyone during break and I forgot to do it this time. That way
Could you quickly give me a step-by-step to get back on?
you just stay on. You don't need to disconnect. Linda left and came back, but you don't need to. You just stay
I
on.
can see you, but I don't have my own. I don't think I'm going to be able to bring you. That's all right. Forget it.
Yeah, like Safari up again, like what we were on before. How to get you on? Is that what you mean? Back to Pipeline? Is that what you mean? Get back on Pipeline?
Yeah, I guess.
Class, yeah. So we're done with Pipeline. That was
Oh.
just opening Safari and going to the website and signing in. All of that we left in the. We're done.
Oh, we don't mess with Pipeline anymore.
I have a recording that I'll send you for you guys to refresh that. And I have another recording for how to register for classes. I'll send that link, and then you guys have those available to you in the emails. But I'm done explaining that, and now what we're going to do next is start working more specifically on the Macs and all our devices and the iCloud and all that. I'm going to work on settings and devices and all that. So right now, I know the concern that you have sometimes, Carol, anyone who's home, is when I share my screen, it takes over and you can't see your own, right? So if you have, and this is only for the people who have, or who when they go home, if you have a second device, if you have an iPad or an old computer, Carol, you have your old computer. And if it's still working, and
No, I gave it back. No.
Oh, you don't have it anymore?
No.
Okay, well, too late then. Because if you had it, then you can turn on Zoom and watch it, and then your computer is just your computer. Now you have one computer, and you have to both watch me, and you have to then switch to do it, right? So it's a little bit harder. If you have an iPad, if you have an iPhone, it's kind of hard because I show up so little that you'll be like, what's she doing? But it's better than nothing. So an old laptop is usually good for that. So wait, it's gone unless you can call and say, can you return my old laptop to me? Then it always works because Zoom takes nothing. You just click on the link, it turns on, and you just watch it like a TV. And then on your real computer, you do the work, right? But don't worry. Whenever I demo something and I want you guys to do it, I'll make a point of demoing it first, and then I can bring down and you can share your screen, and I'll help you do it on your screen, okay? As long as you share your screen like you've done a few times today, that'll work. Other than that, you have to be constantly switching from the Zoom to the Zoom because in people who have big screens like this, it's not a problem. You have me on one side, but a lot of people have just their laptop. And to have Zoom small and your own work, it's a bit harder it's not impossible, but sometimes it can be confusing. And so for people who are more advanced, that's possible. People who are more, trying to figure out, then it's better to just switch back and forth. Okay? All right. So whenever you can't see me, just don't get frustrated. Let me know. I'll finish my demo, then I'll stop, and then you'll share, and you'll do it on yours. Okay? Just, I'll just wait until I'm done with the explanation, and then I'll say, did it work, did it not work? Just tell me no, with the X no, and then I'll go, okay, how can I help you? And I'll go individually to help people do it who aren't online, and people who are here. Yes, Rod? You don't need to record it. If you record it, it would take up your whole computer. I already gave you the links to the recording. Yeah. So if you go to the recording, use that on YouTube. Because if you record it, first of all, it's complicated. You have to have a personal account that you have to pay for because you can't use the school account. Long story. It would be expensive and it would take up your whole computer. Just click on the link that I give you and watch it that way. I record everything. Absolutely. Going back to 2020, I have never taken them off. There's a few classes each time that I can't put on YouTube, and you guys have been part of that. Whenever I teach the class that has contacts, things like that, when I share that class to YouTube, YouTube goes, oh, that's people's personal information. Even if I'm sharing fake addresses like Robin Hood and Superman, then they don't allow it on YouTube. So you can only watch through the Zoom account, and they only last 14 days. So those are the only classes that never stay alive because the recording is not allowed on YouTube because they think I'm divulging people's personal information, hacking, and bullying. They call it bullying. But I never know when they'll do that or not. So when you see my recording links, you'll see one that says link, 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 and then you might see one that says YouTube won't let me post it, so you have 14 days to watch this video, and after that, they take it off. It goes straight to the Zoom program, not YouTube. So that's the only ones that are not on. Okay? Everything else is there from 2020 when I started recording the classes. So, thing is, how can you go back to a class that you took in September and know which day I talked about what? So even though they're there, it's not like it's that useful, but it is. If you want to see the recordings of the handheld devices class from last session, there it is, but you weren't there. So it's a 5-hour class. What part do you go to? But can you? Yeah, you can. Yeah, the recordings are always there. And until I teach the next time, you're connected. So right now, Evelyn, who was in my handheld devices and my YouTube class, and her drive, she can still access all that. Until the day comes that I teach the next handheld devices class, then I'll drop her off, not her, but that class, and I'll connect the new class. So you're also on handheld devices. So you two were in that class. So if you look at your Google Drive, it's still there. All the data from that class is still there for you until the new one comes March 20th. So probably March 15th, March 10th, I'll go ahead and disconnect last session's class and connect the new one. That's when you lose connection to it, unless you know how to find it on YouTube under my account. Okay, and you don't have to lose connection to it. You can download that link, copy it, and keep it on your computer in a PDF, and you can click on those links forever, right? The video stays online. As long as you have the link, the video stays online. Okay? To me, the one good thing about COVID, the one good thing about Zoom, is that I would have never occurred to me before recording the classes. And the fact that some people can stay at home and do the classes from home. But the most important one is recording, because how many times do you come here, you go home and you go, what did you say? Now you can watch the recording. Okay? So.
Linda, this looks so good.
I know, Linda, you're making us hungry. one advantage of being at home, we can't eat in this room. You have to step outside. She can eat. Yum.
What do you got? It looks good.
What's that? We discontinued all in for a year and a half, for 2 years. We didn't resume doing a year and a half at least. We didn't resume in-person classes. I think it was 2 years before I came back in and started doing Zoom. But as you can see, this isn't very normal. Normally, I have like 15 students on Zoom, and yeah, about 5 or 6 in person. People still prefer to be on Zoom. This time it's small, but my students still prefer online. If you're taking painting, of course, it's better to be in person, or jewelry. But if these classes, you have another advantage of Zoom. We used to all work on the computer, on these computers. And I had a full class, and I couldn't deal with people's personal laptops. So everyone had to use the school computer. But your files aren't there. It was easier to teach because everyone had the exact same stuff, and there was no difference. But for Zoom, I had to begin to teach this on people's own computers. And it took a while at first to learn how to support everyone with their own computer. But now that I know, like if you have a laptop, bring it, and I'll support you on your laptop. But if you don't, if you have a computer at home that sits on the desk like Rod does, well, then you have this computer to work with to practice. Then you have to go do it at home. But you have my video to watch and then do it. So it took some learning to learn to teach that way. And these Zoom classes take it out of me still. I learned, at first it was hard to teach online, on Zoom, then I got accustomed to that. And now these high-flex classes are a bit more, trying to support everyone everywhere. It's got its costs, it's a little bit slower. It's got its advantages. Everyone can take their time to do what they need to do. So, anyway. No royalty. No royalty. All I have to do is pay. No royalty. All I do is work more because I have to come earlier to set it all up, put all the recordings in it, and the only time I get paid for is when I'm teaching. So the rest is it's actually the other way around. Not only no royalty, it's less money, but it's worth it as long as I can support more people. What I have to say, what bothers me is that I'm getting less and less students, and it could be the classes are hard to find, hard to register. New people have a hard time registering to the college. B, a lot of people already know how to do basic work on their computers because online, Zoom, COVID, for better or for worse, led more people to learn how to use their devices because we had to all communicate on our devices, and people who were forced to use their devices to communicate or they were isolated basically learned. So there's less people that need the classes too. So, the relevance of it is an issue, and that's why I'm going to have to create some new classes if I want people to keep taking courses, right? I'm creating a video course right now but courses take a whole year to be set up. So in about a year, there'll be a couple new courses that I'm teaching. But yeah. All right, guys. So let's continue with Mac material. So last class, I told you to go to iCloud.com on a browser that was not your computer. If you could, and this was a suggestion, go to some browser that's not yours, that doesn't have all your memorized passwords, and see if you get into your iCloud account. Now, I don't expect much people to have done that between Monday and Wednesday, but again, a constant homework, a homework that you have for next week, and the following, all the way through to April. Try to find an occasion to go to a computer that's not yours. Maybe go to the public library where Bob works. There's computers there. Maybe go to the front office here and use the computers they have for students to sign up. Maybe go to your roommate or to your family member when you visit and say, I got to test something. And open a browser and go to iCloud.com on a computer that's not yours, that doesn't know who you are, and try to get into your iCloud account and see if you can do it. That means that you're protected in case of need if something happens to your personal devices. If you are traveling and suddenly a flood comes up and just swipes away all your hand, software devices, will you be able to find your stuff, not lose your photos, not lose your phone numbers, not lose your stuff because you know how to get into your iCloud account? Does that make sense? So If you can do it by next week, great. If you can do it in 3 weeks, that's great. Find an occasion to use someone else's computer. Now, don't forget you're in someone else's computer, especially if you go to the library or a public library, to then log out, sign out of that iCloud account before you leave that computer, right? Because that's your personal information, your personal stuff. But challenge yourself not to try it just on your personal devices. Your computer knows you. The whole point is, if you lose your personal devices, can you still get into your iCloud account? Okay? So, Rod, you're going to iCloud.com. We tested. This is what we did last week. You weren't here. We all got in. Yeah, everyone was successful getting in once, except for Evelyn, who can't create one. And I'm wondering if it's because of her. I don't know why she can't. Why not having an iPhone works or not works. I'll have to look into that. It's like, can you? I've always known you can create an account. I didn't know you had to own a device. So now I'm going to look into that, Evelyn, to see. So what I'm saying is, it needs to be on a foreign device, so to say, for it to prove to yourself that you really do know what your account is and what your password is to get in. All right? Yeah. Okay, so that's an ongoing homework I'm going to leave with you guys. Now, the other homework that I told you is ongoing, and I'm repeating it only because Raj just got here and he hadn't heard it last week, is write down questions. And I think I said it a bit earlier today in class. Write down questions you have that might seem unrelated. If they're completely unrelated, I'll say, well, this doesn't apply to this class. But here, over break, I can talk to you about it. But if it's something that's at all related to the max and it fits within it, I'll find a way to weave it in. Okay? And in the case of people who already did their homework, Mary already asked me some questions, and she emailed me about it, which is what I had requested. So I'm going to read to you guys her question, and as an example of what kind of things you guys can ask me. So she said, what is, and these are concepts, terms that she has confusion about. So basically, what's the difference, or what is a file, a folder, a drive, an application, and download? These are all words that I use all the time. And sometimes I just explain each one when the class comes where I have to talk about it, and other times I just throw them out. And yeah, it's like confusing, like when you go to, it's that internal jargon, right? They start throwing NPC, NDC, SBA, and you're like, what are they talking about? I don't know. So, yeah, it's really important to ask those things. And then she asked the word portal, too. And I said, well, the rest are part of all my classes, so you'll go getting them except for the word portal, because it isn't normally a word I would use. But then, earlier today, I explained, I said I used the word portal, so let me explain. The difference between file and folder and all that, that will become very clear Mac Level 1, the one that starts in 2 weeks, because that's what that's all about, right? So that one I'm going to wait a little bit. Drive, application, portal, that's what I'm going to explain to you right now. Download, file, and folder, that's coming up. We'll spend a lot of time on that, okay? But application and portal, drive. So those are what I'm going to talk about right now. Specific. Now, just so that just so that Mary feels supported, and I want you all to feel okay. For whom will me explaining what drive, portal, and application be a useful thing to hear? Just give me a yes if you feel that that would be something that, oh, well, that's a good one. I hadn't thought about it. To see if that's interesting, to know what a drive is, to know what a portal is, or to know what an application is. If so, raise your hand, or give me a yes, those of you who are online. Great, I'm seeing 3 hands here, and 3 people at home, which is basically everyone, okay? So don't think that any question you ask is only useful to you. Some people might go, oh, I already know that. But other people don't, and the reminder of what these things are helps everyone, not just the person who asked. So please do that. Ask questions. As I said, if you can email me, then I can be time prepared for it. And if you don't, if you just ask me in person, sometimes I'll tell you, oh, that's the third class. Wait for that one, or I'll explain it right now. Okay. The first one I'm going to explain is portal, because I had mentioned it this morning when I said So, do you guys know what a website is? So, if you go to Santa Barbara sbcc.edu, you get to the Santa Barbara City College's website. Yeah? But a website could have 4 or 5 pages. Someone's, I don't know, Rodney's, let me do that. I just found out I like analyzing things. Rodney told me the other day that he is either the founder or very involved with, right? Which was it? The founder? What's up? The founder of State Street Ballet. I love knowing these things about you guys. I don't know what you do out in the world. So, if I go State Street or Santa Barbara? But I don't know the website. I am doing a search. He's telling it to me right now. But I just want to find out State Street Ballet. I'm going to find out more about it. Maybe they have shows or practices or events or whatever, right? Or I want to donate money or whatever. Membership. I don't know. So I write the word State Street Ballet because I don't know their address. So when I do that, notice over here, Google has given me some suggestions. One of them says statestreetballet.com as one word. See there? statestreetballet.com. That .com, that is telling me that's the address. See, I wrote State, Space, Street, States Ballet. That's not an address. That's a query. That's asking Google to tell me something. This is Google. Because I'm on a web page. And I go to the search. Okay, so let me explain this again. When you're online, it doesn't matter if it's what Chrome you're in, there's always the search. So let me clear this up. I can start I'm in a browser. A browser can, if it's the Mac. Google, if the one that most PC Windows users use, and Firefox. And those are the 3 main ones. If you're on a PC, you might also use the specific PC one, which I believe is still called Bing. Is it still called Bing? No, it has a new name now. Edge. So those are browsers. Those are Jeans. And then there's Levi's. That would be Google. There's Wranglers, and that would be Safari. And then there's Guess, and that would be Firefox. It's different brand names of a browser, Gene. Does that make sense? Yes. Browser is the type of application. So another one of your questions was the application. An application is a software, a piece of software, a program. So a browser is a type of application. It's a type of program made to see online, made to see websites online. So if you want to see a website. So what do you mean? Oh, to see what State Street Ballet is up to see what Santa Barbara City College is up to see what the weather today will be. Those are all sites, websites online. Now, again, this cloud online, it doesn't just happen in magic. Someone that the State Street Ballet hires, Santa Barbara City College hires someone to do a lot of code and put some photos, and that goes onto a computer that you then put in someone else's, a server's computer. So I don't want to go to, they leave it online all the time because you're not all the time putting it up there. It just goes online. So then when someone types State Street Ballet, it's available to go to their website. If the store is closed, if they're knocking on their door, you go online. So that's a website. A website is a specific site of one company, one person, one artist, one real estate company. I know that you work with real estate. I don't know, Evelyn, what people are interested in doing, but both of you guys, so she's a realtor. I know you manage buildings. So there you go, connecting you guys. Street Ballet. I work with Santa Barbara City College. Each one of us might have a website we go to. I don't know whose companies you guys work for, but maybe your company has a website that's specific to your properties. And if it's not, then that's fine. Maybe you just work for someone who just owns some homes. Let me, just connected to the phone because you need it to leave.
Can you talk about the rest of the stuff next time when I'm here? Just this one, can you finish this one?
I'm going to finish this one, yeah. But I'm going to explain this. So, no, I hear you. And I knew you were leaving. You're welcome. And make sure you've signed in. That's the only thing. People who are in person, don't forget to sign in because I can't suddenly say she was here. Online there's a record because they wrote in the chat and stuff. But for you guys, the only way is to have your signature. Okay. So when you go to a website, if you don't know the address, like I did not know the address of State Street Ballet, over here at the top, no matter what company, what company's browser I use, there's always a search. It says search or enter website name. I don't know the name of State Street Ballet's website. It could have been much more complicated. It happens to be pretty direct, but it could have been much more complicated. If I write Santa Barbara City College, that's not the website. It's sbcc.edu, so I might not have known. So I put in the terms that becomes a search. Now, had I known the website name, that would have been stagecballet.com. That's the actual website name. By not knowing it, I am doing a search. So it's either or a search or the website name. When I tell you guys to go sbcc.edu, is that a search or a website name? What's the difference? If I write, that's the website name. That's the URL, it's called, URL. That's the website name. If instead I wrote SBCC, that's a search. And if I write SBCC, then see how it says search Google appears? If I now write State Street Ballet, that's a search, see? Because I did not know the website name.
The mayor feature. Okay, like.
Mary, you have sound on, maybe in your car or something. Turn the sound off. I'm gonna mute you, Mary. So if you need to talk, you'll have to unmute yourself because I was hearing stuff in the background. So you're muted now. Had I known the address, I would have written stagecballet.com. Since I don't know it, the search is giving me what it thinks is a probable first choice, and it's correct. So if I go here, I will go to streettoballet.com. It'll take me straight to the website. But if instead I go to one of these, it'll take me to a Google page where there will be many options. Does that make sense? So it's giving me either go straight, and I'm like, no, I wasn't looking for that one. I was looking for the Santa Barbara Ballet. Okay, so that wasn't it. So then I'll go here to suggestions, right? But if this one's correct, I'll try it. And yeah, it took me straight there. Okay? So I did a search because I did not know the address. And it takes me to this website. Now that's a website. A portal is a bit more encompassing than a website. So say that I go to sbcc.edu. It is also a website, but it has so much. It has, it's so deep. You can go in so many different directions that it is a bit more of a portal. So that's really the only big difference. So you might want to know, if you go into organizations that are even bigger than Santa Barbara, Harvard or whatever, that's more of a portal because you can probably go down into the depths of that and be connected to so much more stuff around the world of companies and things that connect with Harvard. So it's more than just a website. Versus State Street Ballet has a lot to it, has outreach, community, whatever. So maybe it is a portal into dance in Santa Barbara, but maybe that would be more like if there were a dance in Santa Barbara, that could be a portal, versus just a website. So the difference is slight. It's more just the grand scale of it. That's all. But we don't talk about State Street Ballet's portal. We talk about their website. We don't talk about Santa Barbara City College's portal. We talk about their website. So a portal, for example, if I did now want, I'm going to open another tab, and I'm actually going to ask Google, what's a portal in computer terms? Because there's so many answers for word portal. It's a web-based platform that serves as a gateway to information services and resources on the internet. So what's an example of a portal? For example, in a corporate portal like Westsphere Portal, might go in to collaborate with others. So it's more than just a little website. It's just a bigger, how does it work? What's a portal? What's the difference between a website and a portal? A web portal is a broader concept. It has a custom workflow that offers a diverse whatever. So it's just basically, if you have a really big and complicated one, you could call it a portal. But none of us say that. We still say website, right? So not a big difference. So that's just a term that normally I don't explain, and since she asked it, I'm explaining it. But it's crucial to know it or not. It's a complicated website.
Thank you.
Much more
Thank
than
you.
just look at it. Does that make sense? Anyway, so
Wonderful.
now
Thank
website we
you.
need to understand because we do use the word site or website or URL. The words URL, the letters, I don't remember I never remember what does URL stand for. It's a web address. There it is, Uniform Resource Locator. Basically, the address to get to the place. So when people say, here's my URL, they're saying, here's my website address. Here's my portal. It's my website. Here's my website. Here's my site. Here's my site. It's all the same. It's how do you get information about my company, my service, my art, my whatever I do. Okay? So in this case, since we have him here, this is State Street Ballet. And it's a beautiful site. And there you go. That's what it is. Now, most important to me is how we search for it. So I have a lot of tabs open. You see that? I can go back to someone said, why are you on YouTube? Well, I happen to be on that. It doesn't matter. I was just searching for something. So you can search up something up there. If I'm on this and I'm done with this, well, if I make a search over here, maybe I'm going to search now for real estate, Santa Barbara. And I'm going to have two people here. See how I'm not giving it a particular company? See how it's not giving me like before? When I put real estate relay, it gave me, oh, you must be talking about statesrelay.com. But when I go real estate Santa Barbara, it just gives me other possible searches. Then it goes, do you mean this one or this one or this one? And what are these? Maybe general ones that they assume I might be interested in. But there's no particular thing. Did you want Zillow? Did you want jobs in real estate? Did you want Santa Barbara City, Santa Barbara County, Santa Barbara, whatever? So this is a generic search. When I now not choose a .com because I don't see one, if I just say, well, search, all I need to do now is I'm going to hit my return or my enter key. And it's going to take me to a Google page. See that? Not to someone's particular website. It's a Google page. And it's going to give me results. Google results. So I haven't gone to a particular page. It's a search. So when we say I'm going to Google something, I am searching. I don't know their address. I am searching. And then sponsored results, meaning they are paying to show up at the top. That doesn't mean they're the best. They're the ones who spent the more money. So it's important to know. If I go to sponsored results, Zillow seems to pay more than Realtor.com or than Redfin or SandyOnTheBeach.com. If I don't want to see sponsored results like ads, I could hide them. This is new before you kind of saw it. People think, oh, because everyone says if you go to online, the ones that are the best or most used pop to the top. Well, pop to the top under the ones who pay. So these are the ones who pay. That doesn't mean they're not good or bad. They're the ones who pay. Then here, this, starting here, is actually the ones that most people use. Coincidentally, aren't they the same? Realtor, Redfin, and Zillow? Because when people come here, that's the whole point. If you pay, people just click on these. Does that make sense? So the fact that they're paying to be there means that people pretty much start there. So no surprise, they are the ones that show up what's called, the name is, it's got a name, like a homegrown result, like it's an actual result of what the people choose on most pops to the top. So most people choose Realtor.com, then Zillow, then Redfin, then Berkshire Hathaway, then Truthia. Okay, and then it keeps going. More businesses, right? More possible. So these are the ones that are the most chosen for one reason or another. Okay? Now, that plus your clicks. Because I actually have gone in the past to Berkshire Hathaway, and in particular to Avi, and so he's showing me from here, if you go there, you might not have that. Why? Because my son does videos for them, so I've gone to check out his videos. So this computer knows me and is giving me not only the results that are the most used, but the results of places I've gone to before. So maybe for you it'll also show Berkshire Hathaway because it is one of the important ones, but maybe not. Maybe it's just me because I've gone to see their videos because my son films them. Does that make sense? So I don't know if you were to have this result, if this Santa Barbara Berkshire Hathaway is actually a result for me, because that's how Google does. Once you look for something, it figures, oh, that's what she wants and what she needs, so it gives you more of what you want and what you've checked out before. If I keep clicking on Avi, it's going to soon put it at the top of my list because that seems to be something I go to. But then there's also village properties and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? So that's how you look at this. Don't just say because at the top it must be the best. These are the ones that pay, which then means that most people click on them. So on the organic results, that's the name. On the organic results, which is down under the paid, many times you see the same ones. Because in the organic results, most people just don't bother going down. They click on the first ones, and thus they get many more people than this one does because it's not at the top. Does that make sense? Anyway, but this is still a search. I haven't reached that page. Now, if I want to reach that page, say that I go to Zillow.com. Let me go to a personal one. Say I go to Berkshire Hathaway, whatever, and I click on that one. By the way, I don't know them from Adam. I'm not recommending them. I just say that my son does videos for 2 other realtors there, but not that I'm not saying it. Now you're in Berkshire Hathaway California Properties, and this is their website, California.com. Since it's California, it's probably huge, so you could call this a portal, maybe. I don't know. There's a ton of stuff in here. Okay? So had I known, I could have gone to bhhscalifornia.com. Most people don't do that. Who's going to remember how many ages to put in there? Most people just put in a general name or number. Okay? So that's a website. Now, as you can see, it opened as another tab. How many of you guys, every time you did this, know about tabs? Like, to have more tabs than one. So, you might have already on your computer a tab for City College. I can still go back to when I showed you guys the essential resources. I can still go back on this tab to the email. I can still go back to my drive. I can still go back to when I showed you the Zoom because I left them all open, right? I can go back to the meeting summary. I never close them. I can now go back to Bertha Heshaway. I can go back to State Street. See how all those tabs have been left open? Everything I've been talking about today has been left open. What do I mean by that? I didn't replace State Street Ballet with something else. I opened, with this plus sign, a new tab. Now, that plus sign brings me to a start page, and then I look for something else, weather. And when I go to weather.com, it knows I'm in Santa Barbara, so when I hit enter, it's giving me a result for Goleta Valley. We're in Goleta right now, so the computer knows where I am. So all of this is location services. So how do these things know so much about us? Because of things that we set up in the settings. We can choose for them to know where I am or not. So all of this, the conversation that I'm starting right now is about how to use the settings, because that is all the whole intro to the Mac, is how to use your computer to make it serve you. Do you want it to give you a generic weather and you have to tell it you're in Santa Barbara, or do you want to say weather and have it to give you the weather that you're living in? If so, on the system settings, you have to allow it to track your location. If you let it track your location, then weather already says Eastern Goleta Valley. Here it is, Turnpike Road, where we are. If you don't, then it'll just come to some generic location and it might give you a map of the country and you have to click where you are. Does that make sense, you guys? So that is up to the computer settings, whether you said, yes, allow myself to be tracked or not. Also, it's inside of the settings of this application. This particular application called Safari also is going to say, well, can I track where you are to give you stuff that you care about most or not? Okay? So again, settings. So a whole bunch of the Mac class, the first intro to Mac class, is about the computer settings. So computer settings and application settings matter to you deciding how your computer should work for you. Some of you guys might decide, oh yeah, definitely, I want it to know how to give me the weather directly. And some of you might go, nah, I'd rather the computer not know where I am. Your choice. I'm not saying which one is good or bad. Which one is, you might ask me, is it safe, is it not safe? You ask me questions like that, but my question is just to show you in general. Because weather.com is weather. So if I go to the weather channel over here, it's asking me, weather.com would like to. If I say allow, it will always know where I am. If I say don't allow, it will never know where I am, and I will always have to put in the zip code. Does that make sense? But if I say, remember my decision for one day, then it might know right now where I am, and then it'll ask me. So you can make those choices. So if I'm saying allow, and I'm answering, Rod on the left side asked, my left side Rod asked, what about when you travel? If I now say allow, if I choose allow, without saying one day, if I just choose allow, when I'm in New York and I go to weather, it'll give me New York weather because it's tracking me. If I'm in Buenos Aires and I go to weather, it'll give me Buenos Aires' weather because I have allowed the computer to know, to Safari, okay, not the computer, but Safari settings is being allowed to know where I am. If I say don't allow, it'll never ask you again. You'll have to go manually to the settings and turn it on. So you're going to be in Buenos Aires, and it'll have a generic weather, and you'll have to say, I'm in Buenos Aires, and tell me the weather for today. And if instead I say, remember, for one day, don't allow, then tomorrow it'll ask me again. If I say allow for one day, then for one day, every time I go check today, it'll know I'm in Santa Barbara, and then by tomorrow, it'll say again, where are you? Does that make sense, you guys? So these are computer settings. In this case, it's weather.com website settings. So right now I'm going to say, remember my decision for one day, allow, just for the sake of this class. You can make other choices. If you say, sure, I always want to know where I am, I'm going to say allow. So now the computer knows where I am. Now, let me just say one thing. Many of you are going to get this thing. If you're in Safari, it says sign in with Google. You're in Safari. What is Safari? Safari is a Mac browser. It's the browser that comes with the company that made your computer. It is not Google, but Google is very intrusive, and I have a lot to say about Google. They make their money from your data. Apple makes the money from selling you computers and phones. It's a very different marketing project, a different way of making money. You might think it's similar because one made Safari, one made Google Chrome, so they must be similar companies. No. One company makes their money from selling products that you buy, and it doesn't care about your personal data. The other company, all of the money that Google makes is from selling your personal data. And I'm not saying it's just the way it is. That's their thing. What Google has, the economy of Google, is your data. Now, does it mean that they know that Rod May or Rodney Gustafson want to know the weather of Santa Barbara? Not so much. It's not like so personalized to know who that person is. They know because of everything you've been doing online, that you're probably someone who is a senior, a young person, a middle-aged person. They can begin to tell based on what you do, plus things that you've told them. Maybe you've signed up for an account, they've asked you what's your birthday, so they already know how you all really are. They know that you might be white or Mexican, or that you like to eat Mexican food, even if you're not Mexican, because you've been searching for burritos or whatever. I'm trying to say is, the more you use, the more they know about you, until they can pretty much tell what kind of customer you are. You're affluent, you're not affluent. They can tell because of what you do or not do. If you're starting to search for houses to purchase, they'll start offering you tiles and stoves, because that's probably you, Evelyn. Yeah. They're gonna, for the first thing I look at my stuff and I go, I don't recognize that sound. So they start tracking you in that sense. So then a customer comes and says, I want to sell my product. Can you give me names of people in Santa Barbara who are millionaires? How do they know? Because of your searches and what you've done and the fact that you have purchased a house that's a $2 million house. They figure you're a millionaire, which we know in Santa Barbara, purchasing a $2 million house doesn't mean you're a millionaire, but I'm just saying. Right? So then, if you just purchase a house, you might be looking to remodel. So then you start surprisingly seeing ads for, construction companies or gardening services or whatever. It's not so surprising. It's because they've been tracking what you're doing, and the company who serves gardening services go, I want an email list, or I want you to target this ad. So here's how it is. If I'm a company and I sell gardening services, I put my website on. I make a website. I hire someone to make a website. And then I go to Google and I say, I'm going to pay for this ad for my gardening services to be shown to people who are, and I'm a high-end landscape designer, and I want to do Montecito Estates. So I'm going to say, please show my ad to people who are of a certain economic level, who live in a certain area. How do they know? Because you've allowed location services, so they know what area of Santa Barbara you live, and if you live on the west side, or if you live on Montecito, that might say something. It might be wrong, but it might say something about you. And I want people with a certain educational level. How do you know? Because at some point you've been purchasing things that can show, like maybe the level of books that you buy, or maybe some site asks for your education level, and they aggregate all the information that you've given to anyone. And suddenly they go, ooh, she owns a mansion in Montecito, and you have no idea. I have no idea. I'm the owner of the gardening services. I don't know that you're being showed my ad. I know is that I am paying Google to show my ad to you. Does that make sense? Who you are, I don't know, but Google knows that you are, I've chosen a certain income, certain area they live in, and owns a home, not an apartment, because I'm a gardener, right? So I've chosen those 3 choices, and off my ads goes to 1,000 links. It shows it to 1,000 people. And that's it, and I pay for that. I don't know if it shows it to any of you guys. Google sends it to you guys. If you then go online, you will see an ad for for gardening, landscaping services from me, and you wonder, why did you get that? Because I, owner of the gardening services, asked to be shown someone of your general
Demographics.
demographic. I was finding the word. Thank you, Carol. And thus, you look at it and you pass it by because you don't care. But out of the 1,000 people, maybe one person clicks on me. Good. I got someone who's calling me and going, "Oh, I've sung." Of course, I'm just telling you how ideally it would work. Most people prefer to go with someone who's been recommended to them. But yeah. No. I, the owner of the gardening services, would never me, the gardener services, would never say, please go to Rod May because he's buying soil, right? But Google knows that you're buying soil. They know that Rod May is buying soil. And they do then send my ad without me being told your information. So I'm not being told, here's Rod May, send it to him. They put my gardening services as a result. When you search for SBCC in Google, oh, did you see all those ads that pop up on the side? One of those ads would be my gardening service. So if I go to Google, google.com, say that I Google landscaping in Santa Barbara, and I choose landscaping in Santa Barbara, I get all of these results. Waterwise gardening, sponsored, landscapers, and all that stuff. Guess what? When Alpha Structural and Turftopia and EcoSart development companies put their website up, they went to Google and said, whenever someone of a certain demographic asks for landscaping, I'll pay you to show me up in the sponsored. They were not going to show it to Mary, who they know, Google knows that Mary lives in a condo. So if I am Mary, who live in a condo, and I look landscaping Santa Barbara, maybe Alpha won't come up to me. Because Alpha only wants to show up to me if I am someone who lives in Montecito. Does that make sense? That's how Google, so say that Alpha says, show me to 1,000 people. So 200 people look for landscaping services, and someone lives in Montecito and someone lives in an apartment building. They're not going to pop up as a result for the apartment building person. They're going to pop up for the person who lives in Montecito because that's what Alpha paid for. They only want to be shown to people who live in Montecito. Does that make sense? But never me will I know that it was Evelyn Buitre. I say it in Spanish. I don't know how you pronounce it in English. Buitre. Or Rod May. I won't know who you guys are. Google knows who you guys are and knows that you live in Montecito or not, and thus Alpha, who paid to be shown only to Montecito people, and I happen to live in Montecito, they think, because of stuff that I've done, so they appeared for me. Does that make sense? But they won't bother to appear because they're paying per clicks. They're paying to be shown 1,000 times. So they don't want to be shown to people who are not their demographics. They only want to be shown to people who live in Montecito, so they're showing up. If someone else is making the search, it might be a different search. So all these search results are pointed to who you are and what life you've had online, what things you've bought. That's why when you go to a search and one person gets one result, another person gets another result, it's because Google knows stuff about you, and thus you get different results. Have you ever tried to do a search with someone else and they're getting one result and you're getting another one? I don't know if you've ever tried that. Try doing that with someone who isn't, someone who lives with you and has very similar buying habits, but try with someone who's very different from you to look for the same stuff, and you might notice that some of the results are the same and some are different because you are a different demographic. A 15-year-old kid will not get the same results as a 60 or an 80-year-old or a 30-year-old person will get. Okay? Anyway, that said, once you get down to the organic area, which is after you're done with the paid sponsors, then you get a bit more of a variety of all the choices. But most people don't scroll all the way down, and that's the whole point. Getting on page 1 is so important. But if I keep going down, I'm sure that even to page 3 or 4, I'll be still finding local landscapers. It's just that they didn't make it to the top. What makes it to the top? A site that's responsive. That's where I don't even go into the details, but the one that gets it to the top is because most people who click on that page are happy with that page for whatever reason. So then they move up. And there we go. What's that? Yeah, if I just click and leave, that's bad. If I click and stay and read it, that means that it's what I wanted, and that's good. So then it then says, oh, the next person who has for landscaping, they like this site, let me show it to them. Oh, they like this one, let me show it to them. So suddenly if 10 people stay on it, they show it to 20. But if everyone who clicks leaves, they go, I'm going to stop showing this one because my customers Google's customers aren't happy with what I'm showing them. So down it goes, and others move up, and that's kind of how it goes. Yes, Gigi, your hand is up.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. I wonder if it's possible to change um, particular information that Google has about me. Let's say I'm getting so many ads and so on, and I want to cut back on that.
Unfortunately, the only way to do that is to use websites, browsers that are more private. For example, Safari is much more private than Chrome. Chrome is the worst offender. Anything you do on Chrome gets registered. Anything you do on Chrome. And you can go into the Chrome settings and try to get more private, but it always is not too private. Even the private page that you use is not really private. It can be traced. Firefox and Safari are much more private. They're still not perfect, but they're way more private. Even without changing the settings, if I go to a start page, I have this set up. I'm not sure this one, that's the teaching account if I have it set up. But in the teaching account, if I go down here, Safari is telling me in the last 30 days, 111 trackers were prevented from profiling you. Google was prevented from profiling across 7 websites. So Safari prevents trackers from profiling you. So Safari is known in the industry. They had to distinguish. Why are we different from Google or whatever? Well, Apple is, I told you, they make their money from selling you gear. They don't make money from sites. So they are known, they decided to make themselves known as use Safari for privacy. So if you use Safari, you're much more private than you are if you use Google. Now,
Thank you.
that doesn't mean anything because your name, in the sense that it will prevent from here on, but you're already on. Google knows what they know. There's no way to tell them, purge your information. No. I'm a little bit worried about all these AI classes that are being given right now because they are not being careful. These AI classes that I've been seeing being taught are not telling people how anything you do is being collected. Long story. Not to say that AI is bad. You just need to use it with certain caution. If you explain to AI exactly what you're doing and what you need to do with your retirement is here's where all my money is, guess who knows all that too? The company, not your details. They won't know how to get into your account. I'm not saying that they can get into your account with your search, but they know that you're someone who's about to retire or who is, has, all these, like all the questions you ask, they get fed into a whole bunch of information about you. So you just got to be careful. So can you set yourself up with a private page? The most private browser of them all, not even Safari, is DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo, quack, quack, DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is a browser that is the one supposedly the most private of them all. It doesn't use Google as a search engine. See, the problem is that here in Safari, I'm using Google as a search engine. I could also change that and use DuckDuckGo as my search engine within Safari. It gives you choices of who to use. So if here I search for ballet, Google is the company I'm using to search. So even though I'm in Safari, Google is the search that I'm using. If instead, and I'm going to change my share, and this is beyond what I was going to teach today. Normally this is part of back level 2 where I teach apps, but it's okay since the question came in, I'm working on that. If I go to, and this is the part that I want you all to get, the settings. Remember I said settings is what this is all about? If I go to Safari's settings, Safari settings, not the computer settings, but Safari's settings, then under search, what search engine do you want to use? Google or Yahoo or Bing or DuckDuckGo or Ecosia. This one's new to me. I don't know who Ecosia belongs to. So if I say I want to search, I want DuckDuckGo to mean my search, right? I just changed that. Then now when I go and look for ballet, it's DuckDuckGo's suggestion. Search DuckDuckGo. Does that make sense? Now, I have a tab open that says State Street Ballet, so it figures that out. But now, let me see if I had written State Street Ballet. It still found them. Right? And it still took me to State Street Ballet. Now, it's DuckDuckGo did the search instead of Google. DuckDuckGo is not going to is not going to have the data called. There's a white woman of a certain age who is interested in ballet at this computer. Google would have clicked, oh, she's interested in Dalmatians, and she's interested in ballet, and she's interested in titles of searches. And DuckDuckGo will ignore that I looked for State Street Ballet. Is it giving me the answer for State Street Ballet? Yeah, but I'm not going to, my data that this person searched for ballet isn't going to go get written anywhere. Does that make sense? Now, for better or for worse, sometimes it doesn't have as many results as Google does, because it isn't. Google is truly the best search. If you're looking for something really complicated, Google is a better search engine. But how many of you are researchers that need to look so deeply into stuff that you need the best search engine? Look at it. I got State Street Ballet, right? If I look for Dalmatians, it'll give me information of Dalmatians and breeders and stuff and all that kind of stuff, right? Breeding information, the sprue feds, it still talks about Dalmatians. Had I instead, in my settings, let me open the settings again, in the search, had I asked Google to give me the results, okay, so now let me refresh that and ask, did I, Dalmatians. Now I'm back to Google doing the search, right? And I hit return. I get a lot of information about Dalmatians. Was one set better than the other? Unless I was looking for a specific answer that one couldn't get me, it's still a search for Dalmatians. Am I getting maybe more choices? If that really matters to me, then switch to Google. That said, now Google knows that I'm interested in Dalmatians dogs. Is that good or bad? I don't know. Why not have ads? If I'm interested in Dalmatians, do I care that now I'm going to see a lot?
Deanna, your voice went away.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great. Now, what I was saying is, does it matter to me, and this is important because I'm not trying to say that all of this is bad. You just need to nuance it. Does it matter to me to have no one know that I like Dalmatians? Or is it fine if on my computer suddenly I start seeing information about Dalmatians when I look for shoes? And I get told, oh, by the way, there's a vet near you, or there's a Dalmatian breeder near you, because they know I'm someone who before bought a Dalmatian at a dog breeder. So if that's something that, no, I don't want them to know that, then you want to keep yourself much more private. If you're like, who cares? Because they don't get given the passwords to your website. That's not the kind of stuff they do. They just begin to know your preferences. And if you go online and you tend to find things easily, it's because it's been trained to know what you want. Is that good or bad? That's your choice. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to say what's good or bad. Anyway, so most importantly, that's Safari's settings. So how did I find those settings? When you are clicked on that website and it is active, watch. It has bright colors here. 1, 2, 3 bright colors. Red, green, yellow. That means this is an active website. And now this is a Mac class, you guys, okay? So this is a Mac thing. So watch. Watch what I'm about to do. I'm about to click on the background. So Evelyn, you probably don't know this, so watch for a second before you get in. Because this is different on PCs, I'm going to click on this background right there. That was the desktop that I clicked on. What happened to those colors I just pointed out? They went gray. What this means is, even though I am seeing it just as before, this is not the active application. Application, someone want to know? The application, a browser is an application. It's a program that's running on my computer. this is not the active one anymore. How do I know what's the active one? I look up over there and it doesn't say Safari anymore. It now says Finder. So always next to the apple, to the right of it, you will find the name of the application that is the active application. Now watch. I'm going to move over here and I'm going to just click. I just clicked. The color is turned on and now it says Safari. You see that? So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to click on the background. The Finder is now the active application. What's the Finder? The Finder is basically the computer system. It's like Windows for a PC. The Finder, the Mac OS, it's the app that runs your computer. It's the visual representation of Mac OS Sequoia. That's the Finder. Why? It's called Finder because it lets you, that's where you go find your stuff on your computer, right? Windows Desktop would be equivalent. Finder would be the Mac desktop, right? So when I clicked on this background, if I move this out of the way, that's what this is. This is my desktop, right? So when I click on that, I see the word Finder. When I click on this, I see the word Safari. Can anyone do that? Try click on something and then click. Now, when I say click back on Safari, notice that I am avoiding touching any particular icon. I'm clicking on empty areas like there or here, okay? I'm not clicking on any particular thing. I'm just clicking on empty areas to turn it on. That way I'm not triggering something else to happen. Okay? This is crucial, guys. This is basic understanding of how a Mac works, which is very different from Windows. Because Windows, each time you open an app, it kind of fills your screen. On a Mac, things float separately from others. So when you click on different things, they become active at different times. Does that make sense? Give me a yes at home if this has worked for you. The activating
Yes.
Safari or activating the Finder. Now, to the question, can you eliminate your information that Google knows about me from the past? No. Can you now tell Google not to track your location? Yes. But it still knows whatever it knows from the past, but it doesn't know from now on. Does that make sense? That's to Gigi's original question, and I see it there in the chat again. She verbally asked about it, but I'm seeing it in the chat again. You can tell Google not to track you. No. You can go to the Chrome app and tell it to track you less, but for the most part, that, as I told you, that's its business. So why would it give you its information for free? You know what I'm saying? It's like saying, oh, I want to buy a puppy from you, but I don't want to pay for it. You've raised that puppy, and I'm not about to pay you for it. I'm just going to take it. So Google is like, sure, I'll give you all this information you're asking for, but at the expense is I need to get I need to keep track of you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Gigi and anyone who asked? That's
Yeah.
what they do. Again, good or bad, you make your choices about that. That's what they do. Versus Safari goes, it's okay. I don't need that information. I want you to buy my equipment, which we are effectively doing, or you wouldn't be in this class, right? So Safari has other things that they're going to do. They're going to say, hey, your computer's old. You need to buy a new one. Your watch is now old enough. Here, just update your phone. So everyone has to make money some way. That's just what I'm saying. You choose what way you want their money to be made. So how would you do that? In the location settings, Gigi. So now I'm going to take you to those settings. Okay? Now, there's the computer-wide settings that you find in your Finder. Finder is the application that is your entire computer. Versus Safari has settings just for Safari. The application called Safari has its own settings. The application called Mail has its own settings. The application called Contacts has its own settings. So see how I'm pointing down here? Each one of these applications has its own settings. So if you want to train Contacts to work the way you want it to work, you go to the Contact settings and maybe you say, I want to see names in Z to A instead of A to Z. You can do that. That's Contact settings. about mail. I want to see the mail from this account and that account. That's contact. That's mail settings. But the computer settings are for the computer as a whole, for the Mac computer that you bought, or the iPhone that you bought, or the iPad that you bought. Not about individualized things like, should I track your contacts from A to Z or Z to A, but more like, how should the phone function, how should the computer function? Does that make sense? Those are the system settings. System settings, not Safari settings, Safari settings, but system settings. So if I go up here to the Apple, I go to the system settings. The system, my entire computer system. Got it? That's the difference between the contacts app settings and the system settings. System is Mac OS is the operating system. Mac OS Sequoia is the operating system. So the settings for that system are called system settings. Okay? That's where you can choose where things track you or don't track you, system-wide. Versus Safari settings, I can choose only what Safari does in its security and privacy choices. But then when you go to Google Chrome, you have to do it again in Google Chrome. When you go to Firefox, you have to do it again in Firefox. Each application has its own settings, and you might protect yourself in Safari, and then you go open Chrome, and boom, you're unprotected again. Does that make sense? Each app has its own privacy settings. You need to work on each one of them. And then there's the system settings, and you can also make those more or less private. It's like overarching versus individual. Is that pretty clear? I know you might not know where they are right now. I'm going to take it in a minute. But the difference between the word system settings and individual application settings, contact settings, Safari settings, mail settings. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
But the word settings on your phone is the system settings versus also individual settings for how you want your phone to answer with a special ring or not ring. So your phone has some settings about how it's going to work. It's going to go dark or light in general. But then is your alarm going to ring loudly or less loudly, or what sound is it going to make? Those are the phone settings versus the notification settings. So those are different settings. But the system settings for the phone is equivalent to the system settings for the computer. So that's what we're going to go explore right now. So if you still have Safari open, we're not going to close it because I want to keep using it as an example, but I want to minimize it. Now, minimizing is those three buttons that you see up there in color that were gray when you click away. So you need to turn it on again, so to say, by clicking on it. And then you have a red, a yellow, and a green button. The one we're going to use to minimize so that it's still there, it's kind of like move it to another desk, we're going to use the yellow one. That minimizes it. So I'm going to click on that yellow one, and it's moved out of the way. Did you see how it went? And it kind of moved out of the way. Let me show you again. It kind of does this little, like, genie, hides itself in a bottle. That's minimizing.
So does it go down there?
It goes down
Now
here.
I know. I
So
couldn't
then
remember.
here,
Oh,
right next
thank
to the
you.
trash, if I click
I
on it
see.
again, it opens up. So everyone go
Oh,
ahead and do that.
wonderful.
Open
All
it and close
right.
it. So open Safari, and then, if you haven't yet, and then minimize it, and then open it again. It just minimized itself out of the way. Does that make sense? But it's still exactly where you left it with everything open. Now, I'm going to minimize Safari and watch. What other way can I open it up with having to go all the way over there? Well, I can just go back to its icon on the desktop again and just click on that. And it comes up again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't have to go all the way there to get it. Once I minimize it, I can also just go back and click on Safari again, and up it comes. Okay? Now, in your case, you're not looking at Safari, Evelyn. You were looking at the settings. So now you're on Safari. So now you can minimize your Safari. And then just go back to the icon and pull it up again. All right, now let's leave it minimized. And now let's go to settings. Now, I showed you the system settings, two different ways to get to the system settings. One was going to the Apple, clicking on system settings. That's one way. So let's do it that way first, because the Apple icon is always on screen. The other way was to go down here and look for this little icon that looks like gears, and that's the system settings. So let's do that again. Here are the same three dots. And can I minimize the system settings? Yep, I can. And can I pull it up again? Yes, either from the icon on my desktop, or I can go all the way over here again and click on system settings and open it from there. But it's easier to distinguish it just by pulling it up from there. So that's minimizing. The computer hasn't closed the system settings, it's just moved them out of the way. You know, when you have a desktop full of stuff and you just grab one pile and go, I'm going to work on this later. Boom, move it out of the way. But you didn't really file it back into the drawers. You're just pushing it out of the way. That's minimizing. Okay? Now, if I look up here next to the Apple, it says System Settings. That's the active application. But if I click on the Finder desktop right there, it goes back to telling me that it's the Finder. So see how it turned kind of gray, and it only comes into color when I hover over it, but otherwise it goes away. This is an active app, System Settings. Now this is the active app, is the Finder. Well, what if I open both System Settings and Safari? So now let me open Safari. Now I have Safari over here, you guys. And then I have System Settings underneath. And see how it's gray? And Safari is colored. And if I look up here, what name does it say?
Safari.
Because it has colors. Now watch. Just watch my screen. Watch my screen. Evelyn, everyone, because this one's a demo, you have to watch. Here's Safari. It says Safari. This, I happen to know, is System Settings because I see it. When I click on it, it came to the front. And now it says System Settings. See that?
Yep.
It shifted. And this is something that's different from the PC. It has it a little bit. So now I can go System Settings, or I can click over here. Remember, something neutral. I don't want to go into the Dalmatian website. I just want to go to this app. So I click somewhere, and it moved to the front. So now it says Safari. So this is my foreground, or active app. This is my background, or inactive app. I click on it. It became my foreground. So up by the Apple, it always says the name of the app that's the active app. Does that make sense? Okay. This is important because no matter how many apps you have, for those of you who, if you've never used other apps, we're not going to learn each app. We're just opening different apps. I want you now to open your contacts. So go down here, and if you see the Contacts app, which is this little brown icon, click on Contacts. Okay, so now, everyone at home, I just opened Contacts, so go ahead and open the Contacts app, Evelyn. Depending on how big your computer screen is and how much space you have left, you might have these filling up much more space or less space. But now I have my Contacts app up, but I still have my settings up and I still have my Safari up. You see that? So if I look right here next to the Apple that says Contacts, so let me see what's happening here. You have some kind of a message, System Settings. Yeah, there's your Contacts. Yeah, open it. And then the other one was your that was your settings, and here's Safari. So open up Safari. So now you have see what's happening for a second here to Evelyn? That's what I was going to show. She has 3 apps open, but look at how much, the way she has her computer set up, right? When she opens Safari, it looks like it's the only app that's open, right? And I've told you, and I've checked in on her, and hopefully everyone at home, I've opened Safari. What else did I open? The Contacts, and what's the third one that I opened?
Finder.
The Finder, and there's one more. System Settings. There's 4 apps that are running right now. It's just that the window of the other 2 are behind this big one, right? So what if this is the big one and I do want to see my contacts? How do I bring contacts up to the front? Because I can't see it now. And it's not minimized, so it's not down here because it's not minimized. It's just hiding. Because one happens to be bigger than another. If I stand behind Rod, you might see Rod and not me, right? Big guy. I'm not so little myself, but at least I'm short, right? I'm hiding. So I go to the icon that says contacts and I click on it and boom, contacts comes to the front. Now I still see Safari back there because it's bigger, but contacts is now in the front. Does that make sense? Now there's this teensy weensy little person who's tiny, who's even behind all of these, and that's the settings. So I'm going to go click on settings, and the settings pulls up, right? And it's now in front. Did you see that? It just happens, you might have it set that no matter where they are, you're seeing one of them or the other all the time. Like right there, I can kind of see them all the time. But if they happen to have been set one in front of the other, and then you're clicking on the biggest one, they're hiding. So again, how do we move around from them? Okay, and this is the important thing. Look at the contacts. And what do you see under the, okay, look at my icons here. What do I see under the contacts that I don't see next to it?
Black dot.
I see a black dot. That means that's an active running app. It is running. Even if it's not active right now, because I am not seeing it on the screen, I'm seeing Safari, I know it's running because it has a black dot. Over here, I know Safari is running because it has a black dot. I know the settings are running because it has a black dot. See that? I know Zoom is running because it has a black dot. And how do I know the Finder is running? At the very, very tip, right there,
Where?
first icon of them all. And you guys here can't see it because of a Zoom thing, but that one also has a black dot. Look on your own computers. It's hard to show on Zoom because I have my Zoom tools, but there's right there another black dot. So I have Finder, Safari, Contacts, Settings, and Zoom. I have 5 apps running. Apps, applications, it means exactly the same thing. Okay? I have 5 apps running. The only one that's they're all running. One is the active one. Look at my screen. Which is my active one? Which is my active one? Where do you go check for the active one?
It's Safari.
Yeah. And you go check by the Apple to see which one is the active one. Because you might be, maybe you have contacts really tiny. And it's right there. And you would think that Safari is the one that you see. But if you look right now, which is in the active one?
Yeah,
It's still contacts. It's small. You might not see it. It might be even way over there. So it's almost hiding. But it's the active one. See how this one's grayed out and this one's got color? That's where you find out which is the active one. Next to the Apple. Next to the icon Apple, that's the active one. Does that make sense? Now it matters because if I'm trying to set the settings for Safari, I want to change Safari settings. I see the Dalmatians. I'm like, I want to change my Safari settings. So I'm going to go over here and I look for settings. Am I opening the Safari settings?
No.
No, I'm opening the contact settings. But if I didn't pay attention, I might think because I'm seeing Safari so big that these are the Safari settings. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So when I go over here to the settings, I'm opening the contact settings, and they look different than the Safari settings because these are the contact settings. And it tells me, oh, I want to see the name before the last name or after the last name. This is contact settings. Does that make sense? So you want to always know what's up there because then the Safari settings look different. These are the Safari settings. Now, settings can be closed by the little red dot. That's it. But most things cannot be closed with a red dot. We're going to explore that next week in depth. But, sorry about that, I'm touching the microphone. So, right now, if this is Safari, and I have one window open, just watch. This is a total demo. You have to watch, you can't do it. If Safari is running, and this is very different on the PC, so this is for PC users, just pay attention. If I say I don't want to have Safari open anymore, so I'm going to close this window with the X, right? On the PC it's on the right, but it basically the X is closing, right? This is almost everyone does this. I'm going to close it. Did it close?
No.
All right. So why did you say, many of you nodded, that's a yes, and why did you say no?
The black dot is still showing on the dock below Safari.
It's still running. See the black dot on Safari? And in fact, look, up here by Apple, it still says Safari. I just closed one window, but Safari can have many windows open. I just closed one window of Safari. Safari is still running, and Safari, Chrome, all the browsers use up a lot of your computer resources. They really are the ones that suck it out. So if your computer is slowing down and getting old, the last thing you want is to have a lot of browsers open with a lot of tabs open. Remember, I had like 7 or 8 tabs? Each one of those is constantly refreshing. If it's the weather one, it's constantly changing the weather because it's checking in all the time. So those are websites. If it's the news, it's constant. News changes. It's constantly refreshing. So maybe the Santa Barbara City College website doesn't constantly refresh, so it doesn't use so many resources. But Amazon is constantly changing. They're offering you something different. The news is, the weather's different. So they're constantly refreshing, using up your computer resources. So if Safari has been left with a window open, running, it's constantly refreshing all those tabs, trying to make sure that you have fresh stuff when you go. So if I go down here to Safari and I pull it open, it doesn't have those tabs because I didn't tell the computer to remember the tabs. So it's like starting from 0 again. But I could ask Safari in the settings to keep the tabs open so that when I close the app, it remembers and opens the same stuff that was there before. So that's an example of setting Safari to your own style. So watch. I'm going to go ahead and write weather.com here. I'm going to go to the National Local Weather. And now I'm going to open a new tab, and I'm going to say that I want to go to, I don't know, Amazon. I'm going to go buy something, even though they're technically the bad guys now. Then I'm going to open another tab. See how I keep carefully this plus sign? And here I'm going to go to search for Dalmatians. And then I'm going to open another tab, and I'm going to go to the State Street Ballet. So now I have 4 things running, right? Dalmatians, Amazon, weather, State Street Ballet, and let me open also SBCC. Okay, so now I have 5 tabs open, right? It took me a while to get all those 5 tabs open. What if I want them open all the time? What if I want to always be looking at the weather or the news or something like that? Every time it's like, oh, I don't want to close it. Deanna told me it's using my computer resources, but if I turn it off, I have to go open them all over again. Have you ever thought, I don't want to open these all over again? So one thing you can do is you can change Safari's settings so that when you close the windows, when you open them up again, everything you had open is open again. Maybe you don't want to do that because that means that you constantly have 25 open tabs that you don't want. So if it's useful for you or not, that's the kind of thing you do on settings. Gigi might make one choice, Carol another, Evelyn another. So let's go to Safari settings, everyone, and let me show you what I mean. Go to Safari settings. And again, I'm not asking you to make this change because I think it's a good or a bad one. I'm just trying to show you an example of what kind of settings individual apps can have, because then we're going to go on to make setting choices for our entire computer when we explore the settings next class. Does that make sense? This is an individual Safari choice. So go to Safari, click on Safari, everyone, click on Safari. down at the bottom to pull it up to the top. Click on Safari. No, Safari is the third one. 1, 2, 3, that one. Pull it up to the top. Now go up to the word Safari at the top left and choose Safari settings. How are you doing there, Carol? Are you able to do that, or am I in your way?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm clicking on Safari settings. Okay, is everyone there? You're there.
Yes.
Rods, are you there? Both my rods?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So this is Safari settings, right? Everyone look at my screen for a minute. Look at my screen. Don't read the settings. There's many tabs up here. So you have general, tabs, autofill, password, search. There's lots of different things. We're going to go to general, the first one. Every time you open it, it'll be in the one you left it last. So if I now leave it on search and I close the settings, when I open the settings again, it'll be on search. So I'm asking you to go to general. Okay. So watch. Safari will open with all the windows from last setting open, or a new window each time. This is an example of, no, all the windows from last session, but windows is not what I just told you about. That's if you have many windows open. Here we have one window. I'm going to talk a little bit about windows. Next week we're going to get deeper into windows. But new windows, they open with, you can choose a home page or a start page or an empty page or the same page. Right now I'm going to leave it on the start page, and I'm going to tell you more about that later. Really, we're going to learn more about Safari supposedly in level 2, but I'm just showing you choices of tabs. New tabs will always open with the start page. So these are choices you make. So this is the main one. Do you want all windows from last session to be open this time when you close Safari, as opposed to not? So I'm going to leave that one on. We're going to talk more about other details later. And now, just for those of you who are worried about the privacy, since we've been talking about it so much, let's go to privacy. And whatever setting you're setting right now, for Evelyn and Rod, this is just for the browser that Rod, for the browser here. So if you go home, your browser, you need to reset this at home again. You are working on your own computer, so yours is for your computer. But it's on Safari. You normally use Chrome, so you'll have to go find your settings for Chrome. But for Safari, just during the class, use Safari because I'm teaching it to you. So then you go to privacy and make sure to turn on prevent cross-site tracking, hide your IP address from trackers and websites. Okay? That helps a lot. See how it says your IP address. IP address is I can't. Your IP address is what site are you using to access the internet. So that's when they can tell if you're in Santa Barbara, California, or where you're at. So it can be used to determine personal information like your location. Again, they won't discover that you are Evelyn Buitre or Rod. They'll know where you are, right? To protect this information, Safari you can hide your IP address from known trackers. Select trackers and websites to have they also have your IP address from your website, stuff like that. Now, what does this mean? Every now and then you'll go into a website that says, you need to let us in or I won't let you in. So for example, if you go and create a real ID or those kind of things, they're like, I need to know that you are you. So they won't allow that. You'll have to go and, particularly for that website, turn on the option for them to track you. Things like that. Government, So you can't hide everything from everyone, but you can hide from most people, right? So, and then you can have the next one that calls security, warn when visiting a fraudulent site. So it tells you, this looks wrong. It can tell. You can say, warn me if I'm going to a non-secure site. This one might prevent you from going going to quite a few places, because when you get there, we go, this is not a secure site, you can't go there, and you can overwrite it, say go anyway. But the secure site is something that the designer who creates a website has to make it secure or not secure. Like, if you're going to charge me for a ticket to a show, you better have a secure site. If you have a website that I have to pay you for and you didn't create a secure site, this is going to warn me, so I'm not going to pay you. Because who knows what happens to that payment. So basically it helps you make sure that it's a legit site. Now, if I have a site that just shows you my art, it doesn't need to be secure. But if I sell you my art, it has to be made, I have to design it as a secure site, so that when you pay for my art, you are knowing that it's going to the right person. So this is good to turn on. If you ever get to a place that isn't secure, you'll have a message saying, this site is not secure. Do you want to proceed? And you can still say, no, that's fine, because I'm not going to buy anything from them. Or, no, if it's not a secure site, I'm not going to see it. Does that make sense? It always will give you the choice. It'll say, well, this is not a secure site. And as long as you're not going to give them personal information, that's okay to look at it. Yeah. Yeah, I receive almost no spam. But spam is not so much from here, although it is, because these people don't know my website address anyway. They won't find out my website address. Spam is something that you get from people you've given your email address to. So it's a different problem. Ads on the internet is what this is all about. But spam, yeah, ads on the internet, this is good for. But it won't prevent spam getting into your email. That's the problem of who got a hold of your email address and who is it being sold to. That is personal to you, and that comes into your website, to your email address, which is much more personal. This is all who's going to know what you buy, where you go to school, what kind of websites. And depending on where you check your news, they can figure out if you're liberal or conservative, you know, just because of where you get your news from. So there's ways they can guess things about you based on what you do on the internet. Does that make sense? Then you'll get targeted. If you're conservative, you'll get targeted by certain groups. If you're liberal, you'll get targeted by other groups. Again, is it right or wrong? It's just being targeted by the things that you seem to have interest in. But it also does create that silo of information where you think, the web is liberal, or all the web is conservative. Why? Because if you are liberal or conservative, you're going to get more information about liberals. You're going to get more information about conservatives. But your experience on the same safari is going to be different than yours if you have two different mindsets and have two different everything, because what you get targeted is by the things that you see, and it becomes what they call about information silos, where you start seeing only what you see because that's what you see. So then you keep clipping on things that you see. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So your experience and my experience are going to be different. That was my alarm warning me that we have a few more minutes of class, just warning you in case you're trying to leave. A couple more minutes and then we'll be done. Yes?
Just a quick question. We sell tickets to the Granada box office, when we have people that go, there are these secondary sellers that pose. Now, is there any way to, and then the ticket buyers come to us
And say we bought.
We bought tickets and they were this much more. They get a bona fide ticket, but places
Yeah, that's on to people to know not to pay from those places.
they probably warn people about.
You
They
can,
call us at the office and say,
yeah. At most, on your buy tickets page, you can say, warning, is it still a valid ticket? Some people say. Tickets that are not, yeah, because some people say tickets bought somewhere else are not valid. And that's even worse. But you at least honor them, but they have to pay more. But they've paid, basically, you're going to get the money through them, but they kept a huge chunk of it. You're going to still get the same amount of money for your ticket. You make no benefit. They get a chunk of it. What you might get is a wider audience that might have not known. So maybe it's not negative to you, maybe it is negative to you, but you can't tell them we'll give you the money back because they're the ones who kept the money. So you, as a person who buys tickets, needs to know they can be called scalpers as a negative, or as a positive, I wouldn't have gotten tickets unless I did it this way. Because they buy like 200 tickets or 20 tickets, depending on that, and then they resell them. And so they put in money, they make the profit, you just get your audience full. But if they complain, you have to explain to them, next time make sure to buy it through us. So maybe on your ticket site, you might want to say, if you buy it from someone else, it might cost more, we will not refund that. It does not come to us. The only way we can assure that this is the right price is if you buy through us or something like that. Yeah, but it's hard because people can go online and go, I want to say Romeo and Juliet. They go to Google, they say Romeo and Juliet in Santa Barbara, and a site comes up selling Romeo and Juliet tickets, so they buy them. That's typical when you travel. In Europe, I was, even me, I am so careful with these things, and I am so aware of these things. And I went to go to El Prado in Spain. I am so aware that you need to buy the tickets straight from the real site. They do it so well. And I've been traveling all over, and when I got to Madrid and I bought El Prado, I was so sure I was in the real site. I paid $20. I never received the ticket. The day came to go, and I got to the box office, and it was a fraudulent site. And I went back to it. It looked identical, and I hadn't looked at the right thing. Anyway, good news, because I was a teacher, they let me in for free, so I didn't really lose the money, but El Prado didn't get it. The scalpers or whatever got it. And I am so careful. So that fortunately that happened like the first week, so then I was even triply careful in the future. Because it's one thing that was an actual lie. Like I never got my ticket. That's not true. It wasn't a lie. I got my ticket 2 days after the date I needed to go.
Oh, gosh.
So it wasn't really a scalper. They told me, we can't give you, that is a real site, but they didn't send me the info. I was going to go the next day. And so it was too soon for them to have sent me the tickets. I got the tickets 2 days later. But since I hadn't had to pay anyway, in the end I did pay to go. I could have gone for free, but I didn't know that. And it was real, but they didn't deliver the tickets in time. And had I gone straight through them, I would have gotten in. And that would have been impossible for me to tell. From then on, I was so careful. All these tours and things that you have ahead of time. So anyway, but it's not the State Street Ballet's problem that you went to a site that's not theirs, right? So you can't tell them, you have to give me the money back. They never got the money. The company who sold you the tickets, who will probably say, hey, we gave it to you 2 days late, but we gave it to you. Anyway, so this is security that you can do for inside of your website. Next class, we're going to go, and now I'm opening the system settings. System settings has its own privacy and security and setting, and that is for your entire computer. So we're going to look at that. There's in the privacy and security, you can go and check on your location services and who's checking on your location and stuff like that. So we're going to explore that, okay? Because they are two different things. Now, if you set your settings in your computer settings, privacy settings in your computer settings, that means that anything Apple won't track you. But if you then open Google Chrome to be your browser, Google Chrome might still track you because it doesn't overwrite. So you have to do the settings of the app and the computer. Does that make sense? So anyway, I'm just trying to give you an idea of the breadth of how much settings are important and why we have a whole class dedicated to figuring out your computer settings, which is like you just use it. Who cares what the setting? Well, because these are things that then function at the bottom of all your uses of your computer that you never even knew that all of this was happening, that you were being tracked and da-da-da-da-da. Okay? So now, last thing before we go, which is 1 more minute, I'm going to quit Safari. This is how I quit a program. Not with the red dot. I'm going to go to the word Safari, and I'm going to go all the way down to quit Safari, or I'm going to do the shortcut Command Q, or final choice is go to the icon, Safari, and if you know how to right-click, and say quit from there. So that's 3 different ways. We're going to practice this next week. But once I quit, remember I have 4 tabs open, right? I have all these tabs open. I'm going to quit. I've quit it. Now when I open it again, look, they're all still open. Because why? Because in the settings, I told it to Safari opens with all the same windows from last session. Now, if you don't want that, because you don't want suddenly to have 20 that stay open, then you say, no, give me a new window. And then when you open, you're all at scratch. So now if I quit, when I open it again, I'm starting from scratch. So it's a choice, right? Do you want to start from scratch or not? That's an example of the settings that I just walked you through. And you can like one or the other. Some of you open 25 tabs. You're like happy they disappear and start all over. Or, no, I like to leave these 5 tabs open all the time. Every time I open Safari, then it's easier for you to be okay with quitting Safari more often instead of leaving it running all the time. Because when you open it again, you don't have to go find those 5 favorite places that you always like to go to. Does that make sense? I find this is my choice. I leave it on, open the windows from last session. Then if I open it, I go, oh, yeah, last week I was looking for chicken recipes. I can just forgot to close them. I can close them then if right now I'm not cooking chicken. But then I'm more apt to quit the program all the time instead of leave it running in the background where it's sucking up all the energy. And I only open it when I open it. And if I have some tabs that I didn't want, I just close those tabs and then I keep going. But I have my set 5 tabs that I always leave open because I need to always be checking them, like City College and things like that.
But it's okay to leave the tab open, Diana? It's okay? It doesn't hurt?
It's
Or what?
okay to leave the tab open
Uh-huh.
if you are aware, not like some people have 25 tabs open all the time and they're
Oh,
not aware and it's running. So if you know which tab you want, open
Uh-huh.
it. And
I
then
see.
if you change your settings to be leave them open next time I open, then
Uh-huh.
when you quit the program, they'll be still open. If you didn't want it, if you were done, you got your Dalmatian 5 years ago, why would you still want your tab that says Dalmatians? But if it's an ongoing, you always go to your Santa Barbara State Street Ballet site admin area where you work, you might want to keep that one open all the time. Sure, keep it open.
Got you. Okay,
Use the
okay.
program, and when you
Wonderful.
open it, it'll still be open. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's just a
Thank
choice.
you.
Some of you guys work better one way or the other way, so it's your choice of what you're going to do. Now, I turned something all there in the privacy. Privacy relay is active, your IP address is hidden, and your Safari browsing activity is protected, which is fine, except for some sites might go, oh, I'm not going to show myself to you if you turn it off for that site. But whenever you come to that problem, you come to that problem and you deal with it. Does that make sense? That was in the Safari settings. Okay. I'm going to stop my share. It is 4:00. Oh. I was looking over there, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, no, it's not that. I was looking at 4:05. I went over. I went over by 4 minutes. I apologize.
It's 4:15. It's end up 4:15, Diana. So you're
the
good.
class finishes at 4:00. No, class finishes at 4:05.
Oh, 4:05. Oh, wonderful.
I am
thank
sorry.
you.
I try to be on time. Okay. See you guys on Monday. Write down questions, okay?
Yes.
Practice.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Have a great weekend.